Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to game 14 of day 4 of the NCAA Division III New England Regional, hosted here at White House Field, home of the Cape Cod League Harwich Mariners. This is the championship game of the New England Regional. The visiting team will be the Babson Beavers. The home team is the UMass Boston Beacons. Let's introduce both teams. The head coach of Babson is Matt Noon. Assistant coaches Connor Cortman, Norm Gavoni, Bruce Ginsberg, and Andrew Eisenstadt. And now for the non-starters. Number 2, Brett Ender. Number 3, Adam Ayala. Number 4, Matt Cuneo. Number 8, John Flogel. Number 9, Edward Lair. Number 11, Alex DiMartino. Number 12, Owen Shea. Number 14, Teddy Carey. Number 18, Aiden Scott. Number 19, Michael Gennaro. Number 22, Ken Rotundo. Number 25, Cameron Rosa. Number 26, Drew Patillo. Number 28, Max Tannenbaum. And number 42, Jake Oliger. Your Babson College Beavers. And now the starters. Leading off, playing center field, number 30, Jake Weiss. The shortstop, number 5, Brian McHale. Batting third, the first baseman, number 33, Jack Halpin. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 37, Ryan Arena. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 10, Sean Harrington. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 27, Eric John. Batting seventh, the right fielder, number 17, Mark Weber. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 6, David Lennon. Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 7, Connor Gill. And pitching for Babson, number 13, Michael Naki. And now for the UMass Boston Beacons. Head coach, Brendan Eigerbrock. Associate head coach, Kevin Kelly. Assistant coaches, Bobby Barrett, Dan Gamble, Ryan McDermott, and Sean Callahan. And now for the non-starters. Number 3, Eddie Riley. Number 9, Joey Rogers. Number 12, Bobby Tramondozzi. Number 16, Ryan McCormick. Number 21, Alex Corasudo. Number 22, Steve Witkowski. Number 25, Joe McGuire. Number 27, Anthony Pescara. Number 28, Matt Tully. Number 30, Chris Monroe. Number 31, Brian Kaufman. Number 33, Kyle Penny. Number 37, Danny Brown. Number 38, Ben Gottsman. Number 39, Josh Gerson. And now the starters for the Beacons. Leading off, playing second base, number 14, Josh Lopez. Batting second, the designated hitter, number 7, Dan Mantoni. Batting third, the third baseman, number 15, Kyle Boudris. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 40, Chris Fowler. Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 34, Nick Herzog. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 26, Luke Nagel. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 13, Anthony Searles. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 20, Sal Frascino. Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 29, Charlie Hughie. And pitching for the Beacons, number 17, Fernando Burgos. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome to the championship round. We are live from White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts for game number 14 of the 2017 New England Regional of the NCAA Division III College Baseball Tournament. We started here back on Thursday with 8 teams, and the cream has risen to the top as it always does. The Babson College Beavers taking on the UMass Boston Beacons for the 2017 New England Regional Championship. UMass Boston has yet to lose a game in this tournament. They come in at 3-0 in the regional, so they have 2 chances to win 1 game to take their second trip in school history to the College World Series. Babson, on the other hand, has been incredible since losing their prior matchup to UMass Boston. They've won 3 straight games to earn this rematch. They're 4-1 in the regional, and they need a win here today to force a climactic 15th game tomorrow, which would be winner take all for a trip to the College World Series. John Cabral alongside Sean Manfredo. Once again, Babson will be the visiting team, so they will bat first. Here's a look at their lineup. Jake Weiss in center field, Brian McHale at shortstop, Jack Halpin bats third at first base, Ryan Arena bats cleanup, the designated hitter, batting fifth, and catching is Sean Harrington, batting sixth. In left field is Eric John. Mark Weber bats seventh in right field, David Lennon bats eighth at third base, and Connor Gill bats ninth at second base. Michael Noki will do the pitching for Babson. And looking over on the other side for UMass Boston, their defense will have Chris Fowler, Fernando Burgos pitching, Chris Fowler at first base, Josh Lopez at second, Charlie Hughie at shortstop, Kyle Boudris at third, Luke Nagel in left field, Sal Frascino in center, and Nick Herzog out and right behind Fernando Burgos. And you've had a chance to talk a little bit to Burgos and get a little what he's thinking coming into this outing and what's his approach going to be in this most important of games.
Sure, Burgos, a guy I know pretty well, obviously being in conference. We've seen him for a couple of years at UMass Boston, a veteran pitcher. Had a chance to talk to him yesterday as he was getting ready for this game. He's very confident. That's the benefit of being the number 1 seed. As you mentioned, John, UMass Boston only on their 4th game, Babson in their 6th game, doing it the hard way, coming out of the loser's bracket. Boston taking advantage of that number 1 seed, winning 3 times to get here.
Babson jumping right back on the diamond in the same uniforms after a 9-1 beatdown of Suffolk to advance to the championship round for the first time in program history. Burgos 5-2 with a 3.69 ERA. He's gone 46 in the third innings. He's allowed 28 runs, 19 earned on 46 in the third innings pitched. 26 walks versus 39 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .257 against him. And we are ready to get this started. Championship round action here from Harwich, Massachusetts. Let's get it going. And the first pitch misses inside for ball 1 to Jake Weiss. We've moved to a 6-umpire crew for the championship round. As here's a ground ball up the middle, gloved at second base. Throw on to first is late, and it's an infield single for Weiss to get the game started.
Good effort by Lopez here, getting over to get the ball that's behind second base, but hustling all the way down is Weiss. No chance to get him. Take a look. Lopez sets his feet. Strong throw, but Weiss just too fast.
So now here's Brian McHale. McHale at shortstop today. Had 2 hits earlier today in the win over Suffolk. First pitch to him, swung on and missed for strike 1. Dave Simon is working out on the left field line. Rick Force is in right. And then your conventional umpire crew for this tournament, Steve Williams behind the plate, Rudy Firmback at first, Matt Kane at second, and Tom Gandolfo at third, as the 0-1 misses outside to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
McHale had a tough game in the first matchup between these two back in the second day of the tournament, as did many Beavers, as Matt Tully was absolutely unhittable for the Boston Beacons.
1-1, fouled out of play to the right side, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Burgos going to feature a lot of pitches with cut on it. Throws a slider, throws a cutter. Around the plate will get you the chase.
Burgos ready is 1-2. Misses down in the dirt. Runners trapped between first and second base, and now the run down gets started. 2-6. Nobody's covering first, and Weiss is out on the tag. Very close. And so he ends up getting caught stealing 2-6, sort of.
Well,
one away.
Looks like they say they got him on the ankle as he was diving headfirst back in. We'll get another look here at the final finish of that play. A little bit of a pickle. Very close, but umpire and crew right on top of it. We talked about it, John Babson doing such a good job throughout this tournament, reading the ball in dirt. That time it came back to bite him.
Burgos now with a chance to get a second out here quickly on the next pitch. 2-2, fastball rides inside. Full count to McHale.
Look at that, has him on the ankle. Hands not quite back into first base, excellent play. Tough start for Babson.
Payoff pitch, fouled out of play off to the right side. .63 degrees at first pitch, 0% chance of precipitation, that's the key. Gentle breeze, which is shifted in all different directions today. That one out of play to the right side. We'll get at least one more good at bat here by McHale. This will be the 8th pitch.
We really have had great weather, John, other than that 175-minute rain delay, but we've seen a little bit of everything. We've seen wind, we've seen heat, we've seen sun.
That was in the prior matchup between these two teams back in Game 7, a 4-0 win for UMass Boston that set the two on divergent paths as this one popped up fouling out of play.
Matt Tully pitched 8 1/3 innings in that game with 13 strikeouts, but what was impressive is the 75-minute rain delay. Both starting pitchers came back out after it.
Mike Gennaro threw a complete game at a losing effort for Babson in that one. Payoff pitch, popped up. Playable over at shortstop for Hughie. He gets underneath it and makes the catch for out number 2.
Boston defense has been so strong in the 3 games they've played in this tournament. Babson as well. Take another look here. High pop up, but Hughie gets under it.
2-away for Jack Halpin, and measure of congratulations is due to Jack Halpin. I foolishly didn't check my text messages before the game got started. He set Babson's all-time program record for hits in the last game, picked up his 200th career hit with a single back in the 4th inning of Game 13. So congratulations to Jack Halpin, now Babson's all-time leader in hits, as the 0-1 misses down low.
That's an awful lot of hits, John, and something that certainly should be celebrated. You see some of the other teams and banners hanging in the basketball arena, 1,000-point club, things like that. 200 hits is remarkable.
It's an average of 50 per year, and as you know, that's no easy task. There's a lot of things that work against you in that respect. You know, the opposing pitching certainly being one, but you have to get a lot of playing time. You have to play in a lot of games. You have to avoid injury, and then you get to play well for a long time. You also have to make a postseason run in there somewhere probably as well, as they've done here in 2017. 2-1, down low for ball 3.
You need to get more than a hit per game if you're playing an average of 40 games a season. Right. To get to 200, you need 1.25 hits per game. That is remarkable.
Hashtag Manfredo Math. This one hit the other way, down to Hughie at shortstop. He's up with it, throw is up the line, but Fowler right there with the tag. He applies it, and there were 3 gone to end the top of the first. No runs in the inning on a hit for Babson. No errors, but none left on base at the end of 1/2 inning of play.
Top of the first inning, no runs on
Your score, Babson, nothing. UMass Boston coming to bat, and you can see there, definitely out on the tag.
2 good tags applied around the first base bag by the Beacons. Try to say that 10 times fast, John.
Instead, I think what we'll do is meet the UMass Boston lineup. Kind of forgetting who these guys are. It's been a while since they've had to play. Kyle Boudris down the lineup a little bit. It'll be Josh Lopez leading off and catching. Dan Mantoni batting second at DH. Kyle Boudris batting third at third base. Chris Fowler batting cleanup at first. Nick Herzog in right field. Luke Nagel in left field. Anthony Searles doing the catching. Sal Frasino behind the pitcher out in center field. And Charlie Hughie batting ninth at shortstop. Fernando Burgos was, of course, their pitcher. And for Babson, they're going to need their 6th different starting pitcher of the tournament. And getting the call in this situation is going to be Michael Noki. Noki 2-2 on the year with a 3.66 ERA. He's making just his 3rd start of the year, and he does it with the season on the line. His 8th overall performance. He's gone 19 2/3 innings. He's allowed 15 runs, 8 of them earned on 16 hits, 13 strikeouts to 10 walks, batting .222 against him. Heck of a time for on-the-job training, Coach.
Absolutely. Babson going to the freshman here. He's got good numbers like you just read, so we'll see what he does in the tournament. I think the key for him, as I've said since game 1, the bottom of the Beacons order. Keep those guys off base. They really make the team go. 7, 8, 9 in the lineup. Guys like Sal Fonseca, 500 batting average already. Charlie Hughie, 250. Anthony Searles, 333. That's your 7, 8, 9. Those are guys that are putting the ball in play and making it happen.
The defense for Babson, Jack Halpin at first base, Connor Gill at second, Brian McHale at shortstop, David Lennon at third, Eric John in left field, Jake Weiss in center, Mark Weber in right. Behind the plate doing the catching for Babson is Sean Harrington, and of course Michael Noki on the mound.
Boston, the second baseman, number 14,
Sean Harrington's had a great tournament. Love what he's doing, receiving the ball, throwing the ball, hitting. See if they can keep Lopez off the base paths. He's been so pesky.
Josh Lopez is 5 for 15 in the 3 games in the tournament with no home runs and an RBI. UMass Boston has won all 3 games without a home run as ball 1 misses low and inside.
Ball has not been jumping out of White House Field. The winds have been coming across from left to right most of the tournament.
1-0 in on the called strike. Next one missed for ball 2. Babson coached by Matt Noon in his 15th season, opposed by Brendan Igabrod, who's already been to the Holy Grail in Appleton back in the 2010 season. Looking to try to get there for the second time in his very successful career at the helm of UMass Boston.
Certainly going to be a tough way to go about it for Coach Noon, as he's got to win 2 times against this very tough Beacons team.
2-2 driven out to left center field. That one going to get down for a base hit. Over to grab it in center field is Weiss, but it's a leadoff single for Lopez, and the Beacons looking to pick up right where they left off against Suffolk yesterday.
We've seen this before, John. Josh Lopez leading off for the Beacons with a base hit to start the game yesterday. Against Suffolk, the Beacons rolled from the first inning all the way through.
One on, nobody out for Dan Mantoni. Mantoni 5 for 12 in the tournament with no home runs, 1 RBI. Also the winning pitcher yesterday, as both of these teams with lopsided victories over Suffolk in their most recent game in order to get here. As that one misses inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Today's first game, the 9-1 score you mentioned, could have been a lot worse, as Babson left base runners all over the diamond.
1-0 in there for a called strike.
Tailed back in over the outside corner. Nice pitch.
One skied to shallow center. Weiss coming on, has got time and makes the catch for the first out of the inning to retire Mantoni.
Weiss has really played a great defensive center field in this tournament. He has so much range right to left, but also able to come in on the ball. We haven't seen too much hit over his head.
Kyle Boudris.
Now Kyle Boudris steps up. He is 4 for 15 in the tournament so far, with 3 runs driven in.
Boudris with the big hit in game 1 was the walk-off RBI.
Babson's just been eliminating teams left and right since they last saw UMass Boston. They've had to win 3 consecutive elimination games. In Game 9 yesterday morning, they knocked out St. John Fisher, then bookended the day by coming back in Game 12 to best Salve and come from behind fashion in a 5-4 thriller. Now ground ball down to second base. Gills uplit on to shortstop for 1, back to first, not in time, as legging it out is Boudris down the line at first. So Lopez cut down 4-6, and Boudris at first now with a fielder's choice, 2 away.
Watch Boudris get out of that left-hand batter's box, running hard the whole way. Maybe if he was on the right-hand side, he would have got him, but busting it out of the box hard, 90, safe at first.
Two out now for Chris Fowler. The native Cape Codder here has struggled in this tournament relative to the numbers he's put up this year, just 2 for 13. And UMass Boston's first win of the tournament extended his hitting streak to 37 games, but then had that snapped in their second victory. That was actually the game against Babson. Ground ball down to second base. This should do it for the inning. The flip on to McHale at shortstop will get the job done. Sunoki picks right up where his counterpart had left off in the last game. And at the end of 1 full inning, we're still scoreless. No runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. And at the end of 1 full inning of play, we are scoreless between UMass Boston and Babson, and that really helps set the stage for what we're hoping will be a very competitive Game 14.
Can feel the energy in the stadium, John. The fans are into it. The weather's great. Both teams are excited to be here. One of these 2 teams is going to Appleton.
You know it's big when you have 2 sports information representatives from both schools in a Division III game. That basically never happens, A, because usually it's divide and conquer. You've got more than one athletic event on any given day, and then secondly, there's just so many other demands. Usually if you do have just the one home event, there's other teams playing on the road. Somebody's got to pay attention to that, or there's another event that has to get covered, or something else that has to get written. But Scott Dietz and Jeremy Veens both in the house representing Babson, Dave Wahlberg and Seth Orensky both in the house representing UMass Boston. So, I mean, that's when you know a game's a big deal.
We talked about the pro-style feel you get here to this game, because these guys are used to mixing in games midweek, weekends with their homework, their classes, their studies, everything else. We're just here to play ball now. They're all put up in the hotel here, nothing but baseball and spending time with your teammates. Great experience, but also for the SIDs. Usually they're juggling 6, 7, 8 sports, so focus in on the job at hand here.
And it's been an amazing year that way with postseason play for Babson. Talking to Scott Dietz before this game, he reminded me, this is now, if you kind of have to do a little creative math here. You have to call this the Sweet 16 in finger quotes because they don't really do that in baseball. But they are, one of the 2 finalists here, and there are 8 regions. So theoretically, this would be a Sweet 16 matchup for baseball now. Baseball would become the 5th team at Babson this year to reach the round of 16 nationally. Field hockey went to the Final Four. Men's basketball won the national championship. And then women's basketball to the Sweet 16. And super regional appearance for the softball team that just ended yesterday as ball 1 misses up and away to Ryan Arena.
Certainly an interesting way to look at it, John. One thing to note is that their D3 baseball doesn't get 64 like the bracket for basketball does, only 56 in the baseball tournament, which is odd. And maybe just not quite fair.
Not fair, certainly not enough, as that one gets in and hits Arena. So Arena, after struggling in the first couple games in this tournament, he's just getting on base to beat the band.
Burgos tries to come with an inside breaking ball here, but just not great location. Gets him right in the back pocket.
Arena was on 3 times in the win over Suffolk, and he's aboard here again to lead off inning number 2. Sean Harrington, the batter. Harrington in the win over Suffolk earlier was 2 for 5. With a pair of base hits, an RBI, a stolen base, and a run scored. True team effort for Babson in their Game 13 victory over Suffolk, if you missed it, as that one's in for a called strike 1. Babson with 17 hits in the game, 15 of them singles.
Certainly we're piling it on.
0-1 pitch, crushed out to right field. Playable in right, and going back to make the catch is Nick Herzog for the second out. So Harrington right on it, just didn't quite have enough zip.
Not much wind here to start this game, but certainly has been a wind that's knocked a lot of balls down throughout the complete tournament.
Now Eric John, the batter. John has had a very good tournament for Babson. He's got 9 hits overall, including a double earlier today. That was in for a called strike.
Talked a little bit about the bottom third of the Beacons batting order, and John in the 6th hole, so not quite in that bottom third, but a couple other guys we'll mention too. They've really been getting it done in the second half of the lineup.
Even count now, 1 ball, 1 strike. One blocked in the dirt. Good block going down to get it by Anthony Searles.
We have a 6-man crew here. The home plate umpire with the blue top, the other 5 guys with the black top. Is that significant in any way?
Usually they're in uniform. Not the case here. Couldn't tell you. As the 2-1 misses low and away. Maybe the umpire forgot the jersey like bullpen pitchers so often will do.
Maybe.
3-1 count on John. Umpires have a lot of different combinations for different games, as this one raked to the opposite field, lined up by Herzog. He makes the catch for out number 2. Forget who the umpire was, but I was really impressed one time, because a lot of times in the Cape League when I score, nobody's going to tell me who the umpires are. So if I want to know, I have to go out to where they're changing and find out. And there's one umpire that actually had like a bar that you'd have in your closet across his back seat to hang up all the different colors of shirts, all the different pairs of pants, because a lot of times umpires will work for more than one governing body, so they need a shirt that has the given logo on it. And sometimes, particularly if you're in tournament play, you might be gone far away from home for several days at a time and needing lots of different combinations to get through your tournament or tournaments, and that's one way to rock it. I've thought about doing that in my car.
Sure.
Got to be honest.
You travel quite a bit, calling games all over the Northeast and beyond. Several different sports, all different levels, so maybe you should.
Mark Weber, the batter. And did Weber ever make some noise the last time he came to the plate? Hit a home run, a 2-run shot, the only home run hit to right field in this tournament. There have been others, but they've all been hit to left. And that one really capped the afternoon for Babson, gave them the 9-1 lead that ended up being the final.
Sometimes in the Cape League, the umpires just setting up in the corner of a parking lot. Not always the greatest facilities for him here as they buzz around the Cape, and see him bringing chairs and tables and setting up their own mobile office. And we've seen pretty much 2 crews rotating throughout this tournament. A lot of umpires, but it looks like they've kind of melded here today.
All right, now that this may be the final game, nothing to rotate anymore, so they put 6 of the 8 on the field. 2-0 pitch popped up into shallow right center field. Looks like it's in straightaway center, and Sal Frosino makes the catch for the out that retires the side. So Weber kept in the yard this time, and Burgos works very well around the leadoff hit by pitch. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left at the end of 1.5. We're still scoreless now, and pitching depth becomes the biggest question. Your chances on Sunday are really a referendum on the depth of your pitching staff, and really both of these staffs in tremendous shape that way, uncommonly so for the 14th game of a tournament.
Well, I think it's all on Naki here. If he can come through and battle with Burgos, you're talking about the 6th pitcher in the Babson rotation against the 4th pitcher in the Beacons rotation. And we had a chance, both you and I, to talk to Coach Noon a little bit before the game, and I was kind of poking and prodding to find out what they were thinking about the rest of the way. Should they win today, and are any of the pitchers who've already pitched available today? And they're going with a guy we haven't seen. Their bullpen's in good shape, as is the Beacons, so hopefully we get a well-pitched game, well-defended, and good challenge.
Matt Noon was laying it on thick about your chops on the color commentary as well, saying that unlike Coach Del Preti of Suffolk and Coach Agabrod, who we've seen scouting all these games, he's just been back in the hotel room checking out MMAbucks.com.
Well,
hey, why not?
I mentioned that, John, because the BTV folks do such a great job, and you see the different camera angles and the close-up and the stats overlay, and we had a chance to look at some of the other regionals, not quite as impressive. So why battle it out at 2 in the morning when it's 40 degrees and windy when you can get this type of production value from your hotel room? Plus, you get to hear me and all my insight.
That's right. First pitch is in there for call strike 1 to Nick Herzog to start the second inning. Herzog has been their best hitter in this tournament, 6 for 10 with 4 RBI. Lines this one back through the box. Diving attempt, tumbling catch in center field by Jake Weiss. Robs Herzog of what would have been his 7th hit in 4 games.
What an unbelievable catch by Weiss, and we were just pumping his tires a little bit earlier and how much range he has out there, how much ground he covers, coming in hard for the diving catch to rob a single.
I think that's an even better catch than the sliding one he made earlier today.
Absolutely.
Babson playing the game about as well as they've ever played it.
You may have the 2 hottest teams in the country here, John.
Quite possibly, as the first pitch misses down low for Luke Nagel.
They're facing each other for the 2nd time here. The way that Matt Tully pitched in the first matchup here, I don't think anybody was going to beat the Beacons in Game 2.
That's Nagel's 6th hit of the tournament as he deposits it into right field for a base hit. Let's just go down the line here for a second, shall we? Nick Herzog, 6 hits. Sal Frosino, 5 hits. Dan Mantoni, 5 hits. Luke Nagel now just picked up his 6th. Josh Lopez with 5. Anthony Searles with 4. Kyle Boudris with 4. Charlie Hughey with 3. Chris Fowler with 2. The only one that doesn't have a hit that's appeared is Danny Brown, and he's only had 1 at bat.
And Danny Brown comes into almost every game as a defensive replacement for Luke Nagel, who's now at first base.
First pitch hit on the ground, double play ball if they hurry. No, the only play will be to first. I beg your pardon. Throw across to first base is in time for out number 2. Nagel up to second. That ball just had no jump on it through the grass.
No, off the bat, I think you were spot on. Looked like it was going to be a double play ball, but it dies quick. First bounce here off the dirt, maybe kill some of the momentum. No chance at second. On to first. Got to go with your momentum there.
Nifty play on the run by McHale, but potentially a big break there for UMass Boston because they do get a run into scoring position out of it. Frosino, as I told you, 5 hits. That's in 10 at-bats. He's driven in 5 runs. That leads the team. Ball 1 misses inside.
Sure, a double play would have ended the inning. Also, really, maybe there was a chance at second base, but that's an awful tough play. You got all your momentum's going to first. You have to turn, throw to second. No chance there. Good play going to first.
Fastball outside. Hitters count for Frosino, trying to keep it going for Charlie Hughey. Noki looks the runner back.
You see not a whole lot of action there between the shortstop and second base holding the runner on. 2 outs. They want to focus on getting the batter.
Nothing doing there either, so 3-0 now the count on Fresina.
Pretty close pitch there, but doesn't get the call.
Noki trying to take the baton and run with it from Eddie Lair, who pitched a 2-hit complete game, holding Suffolk to just 1 run to get Babson into this game. So that one's a get-me-over strike, now 3-1.
Looked to be in just about the same location as the last one, but this time the call goes his way.
3-1, lifted the other way, but foul down the left field line, full count. If Hughie could reach, it'd flip up to the top of the order, and Josh Lopez.
Sal Francino's been so good in this tournament.
Payoff pitch.
Ooh. Where'd that miss, John? Sal get the outside corner on strike 1 this time.
The shortstop.
Maybe a
number
little bit
29,
more of the plate. The
Charlie
glove,
Hughie.
maybe low, but certainly doesn't look like it.
Charlie Hughie now the batter. Hughie 4 for 15 in the tournament. He's driven in 3. Misses high with ball 1, does Noki. He's got to be careful now. Don't want to face Lopez, who's been hot.
Maybe it's like in the NBA where the rookies don't always get the call as a freshman pitcher here, maybe. Inside move there. You're not going to work them in the middle because 2 outs and you're trying to hold your position. The inside move sometimes can take advantage of a guy who gets a little bit greedy.
Ground ball to third, played on the in-between hop, and a great mind trick there by David Lennon as he held the hand out like he was going to tag the runner Nagel going from second to third, which he wouldn't have done in a million years, might have fallen on his face, but got him running back towards second, and that vacated third base so that Lennon was able to go over and do that instead.
No errors and 2 runners left.
Force play at third, so really no issue there. Nagel puts on the brakes, was about to run into the tag, but nothing you can do. Walks in, tags the bag, inning over.
As the great Yogi Berra once said, 90% of the game is half mental. That's the end of 2. No runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left aboard. The end of 2 full. We're still scoreless. We'll take a quick break and come right back. You're watching the 2017 NCAA Division III New England Regional on BTV9 and MMABucks.com.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Top of the 3rd inning at White House Field. No score between Babson and UMass Boston. John Cabral alongside Sean Manfredo digging into game 14 as David Lennon will lead things off for Babson.
Been a while since we've seen the Shaquille O'Neal commercial.
He might have the day off. Might be in his contract. First pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Lennon, the only change in the Babson lineup. He did not play in Game 13 as Owen Shea got the start at third. He replaces him in the same spot in the lineup, batting 8th. Now 1 ball, 1 strike count.
This is the second time they've deployed this lineup. Shea's been in there for the majority of the games.
Lennon is 1 for 3 in the tournament. He's appeared in 2 games. Prior to this one, takes ball 2 there. We understand him getting some feedback on the streams. We just want to let you know we get into that situation last night where we had to move the broadcast over in order to keep things going. 2-1 pitch is driven out into left center field, and that gets down for a base hit. Rounding first is Lennon, takes a big wide turn, but will head back to the bag. Leadoff single gets the Beavers going in the third.
Forcino goes to the bare hand here as the high hop off the grass. Take a look if you can. Ball hit very hard into the gap in left center field. Sal Frosino gets over there. Watch the bounce. Left hand. Gets it into the cutoff. Maybe saves a runner from getting to second base. Great play.
Connor Gill now hitting over 500 for the tournament as he had a 4 for 5 game 13 to make him 8 for 15 in the tournament. And oh, by the way, he won a game as a starting pitcher yesterday as well to get St. John Fisher out of here. Throw back over to first just to tell you what we were telling you about last night. Great job by the BTV gang in the truck last night. Mike Morello ordered the code red and moved the stream over to their own YouTube channel to get it back on the air for you guys to watch last night, and that worked so well that it's back by popular demand here today as a planned redundancy for the stream as that gets down for ball 1 to Connor Gill. So that is going right now like it was last night. We're going to be doing it for the whole game for as long as we go. So if you have any issues at all, you can think outside the box cast, if you will.
Sure.
And bump it over to YouTube.
You can find that link, I believe, at D3 Harwich Region on Twitter. So that's at D, the number 3, Harwich Region on Twitter. They're keeping you up to date. Or at Sean M14, where I've retweeted it. A little bit easier to spell on your Twitter machine. Sean SHAWN M14.
2-0 hit on the ground. Diving stop made it shortstop, but the throw late. Great diving effort by Hughie, but Gill was on the move, and he's got his 9th hit of the regional, his 5th of the day.
Beavers with something cooking here. 2 runners have reached.
The center fielder, number 30.
Burgos, a
Jake
ground ball
White.
pitcher, though. He knows that he's just 1 pitch away from a double play, so probably not sweating it. Going to come back here and see if he can roll something up.
Jake Weiss, the batter, and the pattern you've seen in this tournament would seem to scream for a bunt. Most coaches have gone bunt here. Jake Weiss swinging a pretty hot bat, though. Do you want to take it out of his hands?
Yep, he's going to bunt, I believe.
They will look the runner back to second. He definitely showed bunt a couple of times last night.
Went to the inside move there to see if he showed it, and he didn't, so we'll see. They've had an awful hard time of bunting runners over to third base. You were keeping an unofficial count of how many times they've bunted directly into the trap for an out at third. Something like 4 or 5, you were saying?
My official unofficial count is 5. 3 of them by Arcadia, 1 last night, and then I believe there was 1 other. This one is in danger of that, but the third baseman picks it up late. The throw is just in time to get the out over at first. Lennon thought that Burgos was going to get it. Excuse me, not Lennon, but rather Boudris over at third base. He gets it across just in time, so Weiss gets the job done, and there are 2 in scoring position with 1 out.
That's exactly how you do it, John, and we've seen so many times in this tournament. For some reason, the right-hand batters have been bunting hard to first base with runners on first and second when they're trying to get the runner to third. So the third baseman's been staying put. First baseman's been making the play. Sometimes the pitcher firing to third for the out. That time drops it down the third base line. Perfectly executed.
Now Brian McHale, the batter. McHale is 0 for 1, popped out to shortstop his last time up. Big opportunity for the Beavers in Game 3, as that one misses for ball 1.
Burgos starts him with a slider.
One ball, no strikes, nobody out. 1-0 is in there for called strike 1-1.
So many ways to score here with 1 out and a runner on third base. A ground ball anywhere but right to first base. Third base of the pitcher, probably going to get the job done. Fly ball, obviously.
You see the confidence UMass Boston has in their team to fight back. A lot of other teams in this region would desperately bring the infield in this spot, and perhaps not coincidentally, none of them are here anymore.
Corners are up, so if you do hit one right to first or third, you're going to be coming home here.
Generous outside strike call there, evens the count.
Very generous. We've seen a little bit of inconsistency so far behind the plate. Sometimes that's a strike, sometimes it's not. All you can ask for is for it to be the same both ways and consistent.
Big pitch here for Burgos. Could do himself a big favor with a swing and a miss. 2-2, similar, but this time it's ball 3.
It goes to the slider here. John last time hit the fastball on the, what they want to say was the outside corner. This time getting a chase pitch, but nobody offering. First base is open, but not looking to add another base runner, so probably challenge him here.
Burgos out of the stretch. His payoff pitch is popped up to center field. Will it be deep enough? They're coming on from right, and it gets down for a hit. So the run will come in and score as it lands in the Bermuda Triangle, and it's an RBI single for Brian McHale. And Babson's back in front again in Game 14, 1-0 as they score for the first time in 2 games against UMass Boston.
See here, the pop-up looks like it's going to be a routine play, but it's just perfectly placed in between right field, center field, and second base. Nobody can get to it.
33,
Run is in.
Halpin.
Great break for the Beavers.
First and third now as Gill moved over, and Jack Halpin the batter. Halpin 0 for 1, grounded out to shortstop to end the first inning.
Corner's still in. First baseman holding on to keep the double play close, so third base is in.
First pitch to Halpin, misses low and inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Burgos seems a little bit frustrated. That didn't look like a strike to me. Shaking his head.
One-0 hit off the very end of the bat and foul.
Burgos a very good pitcher. Has a lot of movement, a little sink to his ball, so trying to get the double play.
Some real heady territory that Babson College is in right now with a lead against the undefeated team in the 14th game of the regional. 3 straight elimination game victories to get here. Third to first base by Burgos, nothing doing. Babson had come into this regional with just 1 NCAA tournament win in program history. Their win earlier today set a new program record for season wins with 29. 1-1 misses low and in.
They came in on a 13-game winning streak. They've won 3 of 4.
4 of 5, so now 17 of 18.
17 of 18. That is about as hot as it gets.
This one lined to right field and falls in right field. So tagging as though it would be caught as Gill. Now he's got to get on his horse to score, but he does. Career hit number 201 for Jack Halpin as an RBI single, and the Beavers lead it 2-0 in Game 14.
Herzog plays this very conservatively. Watch the line drive to right field. In comes Herzog, pulls up at the last second, lets it drop in front of him.
The designated hitter, number 37,
RBI single.
Ryan Arena.
McHale also had to see if it would be caught, so he stops at second, and Ryan Arena the batter.
We may have a visit here from one of the UMass Boston assistant coaches. Tough to tell, though. The camouflage hooded sweatshirt.
I can barely see him at all. I just see 2 legs walking around out there.
I see somebody making his way to the mound.
Got a lot of applause as though someone's going to come out of the game. Maybe they just got word as they've taken the ball. They're getting that for Jack Halpin, so maybe they think that that's the program record. Either way, it belongs to Jack Halpin, and there's a little bit of confusion there. I'm sure he's happy, but this is the thing. You can reflect on that someday in the rocking chair with the grandkids.
Absolutely.
I mean, right now you're trying to win a ball game.
Business at hand, but the fans, the parents, they want that ball. Get the ball is the chant.
Arena steps out. Arena had one of the biggest hits of the tournament, a bases-loaded 2-out single with his team trailing 4-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning last night, lifting Babson to an eventual 5-4 win over Salve Regina in Game 12. And that seemed to really open the door for him as he got on base 3 times in the last game and got on with a hit-by pitch his first time up today. Takes ball 1 low here.
Searles goes out of his crouch to block that one, gets it in the glove. Burgos starting several batters with off-speed stuff. Really looking for a ground ball here. That's what he's looking for. Trying to get that double play.
1-0 pitch. Misses down low. 2 balls, no strikes the count.
Goes to the two-seam fastball, runs back in off the plate under the hands. Ball 2.
Hitter's count. Fastball hits the outside corner for a called strike 1.
Again, it looks like they're going to be giving that outside fastball today. A couple of inches, maybe a ball's link off the plate there, but again, if that's the way it's going to be, that's the way it's going to be.
Burgos slides step and deals big swing by Arena. He was trying to park that one.
Good movement on that pitch from Burgos. Maybe took a little something off of it, gets the swing, and miss.
Burgos comes to the plate. This one fouled out of play. Good swing there by Arena against a pitch that was off speed to spoil it and get another.
Good shot there of the missing chain link in our fence, which has yet to cause any trouble. Arena, 2-strike approach here. Looking to stay out of the double play, but mostly avoid the strikeout.
Now the 2-2 waved at and missed. Strike 3. Big pitch by Burgos, who's been struggling in this inning, gets the second out.
Came hard inside here. Arena with a swing and miss. Take another look.
The catcher, number 10, Sean Harrington.
First strikeout for Burgos, and now here's Sean Harrington. Harrington 0 for 1. Flew out to right field his first time up.
You have this many runners on base with only 1 out. If you can get out of here with only 2 runs, you got to take that as a little bit of a win. Avoid the big inning, John. That's what the Beacons want to do. There's plenty of game left.
First pitch trails well outside the zone.
Big time tail on that pitch.
Eric John waits on deck. That's the last one Burgos wants to see. He's got 9 hits in the tournament, 6 of them in the last 2 days. 1-0 misses away. They'll throw down to first. Halpin gets back in safely. He'll be coughing up a face full of dirt, but at least he's in safe.
Searles throws the ball as good as any catcher in New England. We talked about that in one of the previous games. He'll sling it around the field, but he's very accurate. So if you're going to be doing that stuff, you got to have confidence, and he certainly does.
2-0 down the middle and a check swing. Why is Harrington checking his swing there?
Thought that ball was outside. Maybe he's asking the umpire.
You can do serious damage with a pitch like that.
Was a little bit up, maybe. 2-0, you want your pitch. He asked the umpire, was that on the swing or was that on the location? I think it was on the swing.
2-1 now, misses low and in.
You're right. Get something to elevate, maybe. Big, strong kid.
Burgos ready. The 3-1, borderline, strike 2.
Very borderline. Looks like Steve Williams is going to give you a very wide strike zone today. Good for the crew, maybe. Keep the game moving, but you can see why Harrington might take a little offense to that call.
Lefties as well as righties, so everybody will be off with this one. McHale from second, Halpin from first. Full count with 2 out. In the top of the third, time called by Harrington as he'll step out. Pivotal pitch early in this game. 2 runs already in the inning for the Beavers. They try to open it up. UMass Boston trying to keep it close. Runners go. The pitch is hit out to center field. Coming in is Frasino, and he makes the catch for the out that retires the side. But Babson gets on the board first in game 14 as they score 2 runs on 4 hits. There were no errors, and they leave 2 runners aboard at the end of 2.5. Your score now, Babson 2, UMass Boston nothing. You're watching the 2017 New England Regional here on BTV 9 and MMABucks.com. John Cabral alongside Sean Manfredo, and the Beavers just keep doing what they've been doing. They haven't really had that one huge inning at any point in this tournament, but they seem to make as much as they can out of various opportunities.
Talked about the number of base runners they left on last game. Despite scoring 9 runs, it felt like they could have scored 20 runs. 2 left here in this inning, so still chipping away. 2 runs, they'll take that lead, absolutely, and could have been a lot worse for the Beacons, so.
Michael Noki goes back out to the mound for Babson, and he's thrust into the spotlight given the way that this tournament has taken shape. But he actually has pitched against UMass Boston earlier this year. These two met not only in the tournament, but they also had a regular season matchup back on April the 12th, the 12-7 win for UMass Boston. So they're 2-0 against Babson this year, and Noki actually took the loss in that game, gave up 5 runs, but only 1 of them was earned on 3 hits. He struck out 4, he walked 2 in 2 2/3 innings of work, so must have been some rough defense behind him that day, but at least this isn't a complete unknown commodity for a freshman coming into a game this big.
You've seen Boston so many times now. If you're Babson, you've been watching the tournament. Coach Noon let us know that he's been doing a lot of scouting and taking notes. If you can take that game plan and execute it against any team, the ability to be successful, and having faced him before, hopefully you can take some of that and what you've learned and apply it here today.
Now that all-important second trip through the order for a freshman pitcher as he throws to Lopez and can't put it on much better than that. Paints the outside corner, 0-1 to Josh Lopez. It's exactly where you want to be living to a right-handed bat. Gets it right back, throws it again, same spot, maybe a little further outside, strike 2, and that's something you can teach pitchers as well. If you can find the outside corner, you can try to extend it a hair here and a hair there.
Throw it out there again. Take a little more.
0-2, they'll go away again.
Tried it.
Outside, outsider, and outsider wrist, right? To use the Manfredo parlance.
Hey, you got it right on the nose, John.
1-2, curveball misses outside. Maybe that was an outsider wrist after all. Noki delivers, comes inside, just past the dive of Lennon and into left field. Hitting first is Lopez. They're going to send him for second. The throw is going to be late, and it's a leadoff double for Lopez. Got the one mistake pitch inside and makes Noki pay.
So he goes outside, 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 back inside, and Lopez hammers it. Take a look.
And Lopez doing what he can to try to get that Beacon dugout fired up when he gets into second base.
Lopez plays with a lot of emotion, that's for sure. He's the kind of guy that if he's on your team, you love it. If you're the opposing pitcher or defense, you might take offense to some of that, but nothing wrong with it in my opinion. Playing with heart, playing with passion.
Lopez at second for Dan Mantoni. Mantoni 0 for 1. Pitch waved at and missed for strike 1, and that can be a real part of the learning curve for a freshman pitcher, and learning to trust the coaching staff and learning to accept the coaching is, hey, we told you to throw it outside. Look what happened when you didn't.
Absolutely right, and you've noticed it throughout this tournament. Pretty much every one of these catchers looking in for their signals, getting the calls from the dugout.
A 1 hit down to shortstop. Runner makes a break for third. They'll go to third, and forgetting to catch the ball is David Lennon. Headed up to second base on the error is Dan Mantoni, and what could have been a huge defensive play for Babson becomes a major error. Second and third, nobody out.
What a break for UMass Boston. A great play by McHale. Throws on the money, just doesn't catch it. Third base coach giving Lopez a little bit of I don't know, he can't hear what he's saying, but he's kind of pointing and saying, hey, that was dumb, or hey, way to hustle, one or the other. But he was running directly into an out at third base. They say you got to be able to put the ball behind you if you're going to go from second base to third. He did not. McHale with a fantastic play. Unfortunately, no tag by Lennon, no catch.
One's in for a called strike 1 as I mentioned yesterday I'm a Giants fan. As a New York Giants fan, I've watched many substandard tight ends do the same thing for the last several years, try to run with the ball before they've made the catch and they put it on the carpet. But it's a lot more consequential in baseball than it is in football when you can just go back to the huddle for 2nd and 10. Ground ball down to second. The pitcher Noki coming over to cover. The 4-1 putout registers the first out, but in from third is Lopez. And an unearned run gets UMass Boston on the board. It's now a 2-1 ball game in the third.
Interesting to note as well, of the 5 games UMass Boston's played, Owen Shea's been at third base for 4 of them, so they go away from Shea, bring in Lennon here, maybe because Owen had a tough day at the plate in the first day. I think he had a couple of strikeouts here in the game before this. Maybe trying to get a little offensive punch, go to Lennon. See what happens.
That's why coaches keep Tums in the briefcase, right?
I guess so.
First one misses downstairs for ball 1 to Chris Fowler. Fowler getting to a fielder's choice to end the first inning. Mantoni is credited with a fielder's choice there, as the play was to third base. Boudris picks up an RBI there. Good backdoor curve by Noki, 1-1.
Chris Fowler, first team all-conference first baseman in the Little East. About as dangerous as it gets as a hitter.
One curve, similar spot, but a little further outside.
They're definitely trying to stay away from Fowler. You saw that in this first at-bat. They went away, had him roll over a ground ball to second base. Didn't want to give him anything in the wheelhouse that he can drive. He has some power.
Noki's 1-1, misses well outside. And for Babson, the whole name of the game is building the bridge. You want to get this to the late game for a well-rested bullpen. That lead down to 1 run already. This is popped up. Will it get out of play? Giving chase is Harrington. He does not have enough room as it's in the front row of the bleachers.
Just ran out of real estate there. That pitch pretty good down the middle. Maybe a little too good. Just missed it. Thought maybe they were pitching around a little bit, trying to get him to make a mistake, but then 3 balls, 1 strike, right down the middle of the plate, splitting the plate.
One down low and outside, so Fowler works the 1-out walk, and there's runners at the corners for the Beacons for Nick Herzog.
Pretty close pitch, but low, and first base was open. Not that you want to put any more base runners on when you have a 1-run lead, but at least you have a double play in order now. Herzog's a dangerous hitter, but he can be rolled over.
Matt Noon goes out to the mound, and here is one of the many places where UMass Boston's advantages in this tournament starts to rear its head, because these two coaches are coaching completely different games right now. For Babson, this is an elimination game that they absolutely have to have, and you really can't mess around if Noki can't right the ship and get outs quick. You've got to go to the bullpen, and you might even have to use front-line relievers in the early innings of the game if it really gets bad. On the other side, for UMass Boston, this is a free shot. If they don't win this game, they've got a chance to win another game tomorrow. So Burgos will have as much, if not more, leash as he would have in any regular season game. And it's just a whole different ball of wax for Matt Noon today versus Brendan Igabrook.
Yeah, spot on. Both teams with very good bullpens, but as you mentioned, wouldn't be shocked to see Babson go to their bullpen early and extend those guys. They have very good setup, very good closer. Could see multiple innings of work if needed.
We saw a scoreless inning from Ken Rotuno with a deficit last night. They then came back, took the lead, and Matt Cuneo, the closer, slammed the door. They'd love to do that again, but you'd be counting on yet another starter to give you 7 innings. You'd think at some point, it's got to strike midnight on this Babson rotation, as that's on the outside corner for a called strike 2. All 5 Babson starting pitchers have gone at least 7 innings in this tournament.
I don't think that Coach Noon's is too down on what Noki's doing here. I mean, remember the big error that led to the run that scored. That's not an earned run.
0-2 hit on the ground down to shortstop. Too slow for a double play. They're going to try it anyway. The throw back to first, a step late, and it's a tie ball game. Getting down the line just in time was Nick Herzog. He picks up the RBI. Mantoni is in from third to score. Another unearned run ties the game at 2 in the third.
Ground ball at shortstop, but like you said, just too slow. Still a quick turn by the Babson middle infield, but ball not hit hard enough.
Number 26, Luke Nagel.
Nobody makes it hurt more than Boston, John, and we saw it in the first round game. Penn State Berks, many errors, and every single one of them across the plate, it seems. 7-run inning, taking advantage of the mistakes by Penn State Berks, and then here today, looked like they were going to make a base running blunder to play right into Babson's hand, but dropped the ball at third, and 2 runs are in.
Luke Nagel fouled that first one off. He is 1 for 1, singled his first time up in the second inning. Runner bluffs, the 0-1 taking the other way. Has trouble if it's fair. Just foul down the left field line. Or is it?
Nope, it's foul.
Okay, they continued running. The batter stopped at first. Herzog stopped at third. Now they're getting back to it.
Take a look here down the left field line. Right on top of it is the umpire crew. 6-man crew here. There'll be no bad calls on foul balls today, you wouldn't think. Guys are right there. We've seen them before.
Phil Cuzzy is far, far away. (0-2) fouled off the edge of the bat. Of course, Babson has a lot of players from the tri-states. They've probably got friends and family watching this game going, hey, I like that guy. That was a good call.
You might be right.
(0-2) pitch, hit out to left center field, splitting the defenders in a nice running grab made by Eric John to prevent further damage in the third. But UMass Boston answers with a 2-spot of its own, both runs unearned. 2 runs on just the 1 hit, the 1 pivotal error, and then 1 man left on base at the end of 3 full innings of play. We're now tied at 3 in Game 14 of the 2017 NCAA Division III New England Regional here on BTV9 and MMABucks.com. And like you said, nobody makes it hurt like Boston. They certainly did there to wipe away the deficit immediately.
Now, you don't want to minimize what they're doing offensively because it is outstanding, but it seems like every single time there's something that could go against them, the luck goes in their way, and then they come through and make it hurt. So, got to like that if you're a coach, or especially if you're a pitcher, when you're down, you're trailing by 2, and you know your boys are going to come put it on them.
And I've been remarking to people around here this week just how much different the vibe is now for UMass Boston. I was there broadcasting the games when they made their College World Series run in 2010, and it came out of, I'm going to say, nowhere. The players won't agree, of course, because they were there the whole year, but they were not expected to even win their own league tournament, let alone do anything in the NCAAs. And they win a perfect 3-0 in the Little East tournament, a perfect 4-0 in the regional, and rolled it all the way to Appleton, Wisconsin. They've since been able to build the program off of that. But 7 years ago, they were a bottom half team in the Little East Conference, or coming out of that anyway. And most teams in the athletic department at UMass Boston were also Rans in most of the sports. And right before baseball, Terry Condon and her volleyball team started getting it turned around. They became a national powerhouse. Shortly after that, it was baseball. Then after that, it was women's soccer. And it seems like everybody's coming along now for UMass Boston as they're finally hitting their stride. And this whole department has kind of sprinted forward over these last 7 years since the baseball team made that incredible run in Connecticut.
Sure, and I wasn't around in those days that we talked before. You asked me if I remembered any of that, and I don't. Some similarities, though. 2010, I believe, is the only other Little East Conference championship in UMass Boston's history. So they have 2 Little East Conference championships. And then if they're able to finish the job here, they'll have 2 regional championships.
First pitch to Eric John is grounded down to shortstop. Third baseman got in the way there. And I wonder what would have happened if that ball had been allowed to roll through to Charlie Hughey. Either way, John is aboard. That was hit so slow, I would think they'd score that a hit, but we'll see.
One thing I wonder, John, and you were there in 2010 and I wasn't, and you see so many teams that get into the regional tournament taking advantage of that auto qualifier, and UMass Boston wasn't the regular season champion of the Little East Conference. They went up and they won the conference tournament, much like this, got the number 1 seed here, and it looks like they're in the driver's seat. But we saw some other auto qualifiers in here in the tournament, like Worcester State, for example, and they weren't able to ride that momentum to any more victories. Boston has come in after winning that tournament, won their first 3, so carrying that momentum into the regional, something that the Beacons seem to be pretty good at when they have it.
That one scored an error on Kyle Boudris. So John aboard at first base, having reached on the error. Now 1-0 the count on Mark Weber. Weber 0 for 1, flew out to center field to end the second inning. Pitch on the outside corner for a called strike.
If you can follow what I'm trying to say.
I can.
Can you take that auto qualifier tournament win and continue that momentum through the tournament? Seems hard.
They certainly did in that instance 7 years ago, but just 36-10, just an unbelievably good record anyway. But then you consider they're playing against Little East competition. I mean, 36-10 is a much different thing, you know, if you're doing it in the GNAC, for instance, versus doing it in the Little East, where you're playing tough matchups, 2 or 3 of them each and every week.
Well, that's why you see the strength of schedule for Boston overall. I think they finished in the top 26, 27 overall strength of schedule, so they certainly didn't play any cupcakes during the regular season.
3 balls, 1 strike to count on Weber.
But sure helps playing 2 against Southern Maine, 2 against Eastern Connecticut, et cetera, et cetera.
Here's a pop-up coming back our way. This is the first one that might come into the broadcast booth just a little bit to our right. Stays in play and actually caught in the field of play by Anthony Searles for the first out of the inning.
Searles so good defensively. We didn't have a view of that where we're perched up here. We couldn't see. But getting back, here's a look at it on the monitor. What a catch.
Take those outs anytime they present themselves. Now here's David Lennon. Lennon's 1 for 1, singled and scored in the third, but then made the error that is the biggest reason why we're tied right now, as Babson woulda, shoulda, coulda gotten out of that scoreless last inning had Lennon been able to make the catch in the tag to get the out on Lopez over at third base on the ground ball to shortstop.
Leadoff runner reached. We'll see if Burgos can erase that, maybe with a double play ball.
One's on the inside corner for a called strike. No balls, 1 strike. Fastball misses away. Even count to Lennon. Connor Gill waits on deck. And then Jake Weiss thereafter.
Connor Gill, the most dangerous 9-hitter in the tournament by far.
1-1, fouled straight back. Hits the hospitality tent, which is vacant.
I don't actually get a vote for the all-tournament team, but I certainly made my case for Connor Gill when I had the opportunity. Kid's been playing out of his mind, both offensively and Game 3 starting pitcher for the Beacons. True two-way guy. Soft spot in my heart for those guys. Mantoni, 1 for the Beacons, two-way guy.
We were talking earlier about what the All-Manfredo team might have as the gimmicks. I mean, John Madden has the turkey legs on lockdown. Sure. Phil Simms did the iron, which I thought was pretty lame.
Yeah.
So what would your go-to award be? Is that pitch waved at and missed by David Lennon for strike 3 and out number 2?
Geez, I don't think I have anything. I'm going to have to really scratch my head on that one.
Umbrellas, maybe?
Well, you might be right. I mean, we do have
on Cape Cod.
We are on Cape Cod, and I have brought this umbrella to protect us from the elements as we've been outside for 4 days. Our faces are red, our lips are chapped from the wind. We're real heroes here, so to speak.
Absolutely. It's been a really tough thing watching all this high-level baseball and eating all these free meals, let me tell you, but we do it for you, the audience, as this is ripped into left field, down for a hit, and it's going to roll all the way into foul territory. Now it's an issue. John's going to hit third base. They'll send him in. The relay throw to the plate is high, and the Babson Beavers score the go-ahead run. Throw to third gets away, and into third base off the RBI double is Connor Gill, and Connor Gill has done it again.
That's my guy, John. I told you, Connor Gill, man, he is on fire out of the 9-hole, rips the ball down the left field line, and just watch it roll all the way down into foul territory, waving the runner all the way. It looked like it might get hairy here at the end as he just hits third base as the relay comes around, throws high, sliding in safely, and then Gill heads up all the way down to third base, trailing the runner. 2-out RBI triple for Connor Gill.
Connor Gill has 6 hits today. As this one now hit out into a tough spot in left field. Everybody coming on and it lands. Finds the other Bermuda Triangle. An RBI single for Jake Weiss. Babson back in front 4-2. And they answer 2 UMass Boston unearned runs with 2 unearned runs of their own.
Take a look here. Just another ball that's placed in the perfect spot for Babson. Nobody can get there. Connor Gill coming in to score with ease from third base. All this with 2 outs. Connor Gill not only doing such a great job providing offense, but turning the lineup over, gets to third base, turns the lineup over to the top of the order, and scores.
I got to tell you, right now, MVP is Gill's to lose.
Oh, absolutely, and we were making that case. If Babson can continue this run.
Runner goes. This one hit out into center field. Frasino going back, and he will make the catch to retire the side. But Connor Gill works his magic yet again as he comes through with a 2-out RBI double. 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits, 1 huge error, and 1 runner left on base. And at the end of 3.5 innings, the Babson Beavers keep it going. They're back in front for a second time.
A lot of momentum. You're starting to get into the halfway point of this game. Babson Beavers are hitting the ball all over the field. 7 hits already. They can get a 0 here and get that offense back up. You still got some of your big bats up.
First pitch misses high for ball 1 to Anthony Searles. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 line back through the box and into center field for a base hit. Searles now 1 for 2.
Big answer by Anthony Searles there. Get the momentum stopped a little bit for Babson's. Searles had that play in the last half where he went back to the backstop and made a great catch for the out. Starts him up here with a single.
The center fielder, number 20, Sal Frasino.
Sal Frasino now the batter. Does not have an official at bat yet. Worked a walk back in the second inning. Frasino 5 for 10 in the tournament. Swinging a hot bat from that 8 slot. First one misses low and outside. Down by 2. Would you consider a bunt here?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. We've seen UMass Boston bunting in pretty much any count, any out sequence. So it's certainly something to consider.
Pop up into shallow left. McHale going back, but coming in to make the catch is Eric John, and there's 1 away in the 4th.
Frasino, like you said, though, so hot. Coach Eigerbrout just wants to let him hit.
The shortstop, number 29.
1 on,
Charlie
1 out
Hughey.
for Charlie Hughey. Hughey hit into a fielder's choice that ended the second inning. That was a pretty amazing play by Lennon at the time. The way that he tricked the runner into going back to second when he had to force at third. Baseball always has that promise of giving you something you've never seen before. That was a new one for me. That one misses inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, if you're Nagel there, there's no harm in putting on the brakes, and maybe he can trick the third baseman and trying to take the long route, make the throw to first instead of just stepping on the bag.
Ground ball ripped the foul a little too far down the back.
Looks like Josh Gerson is warming up in the bullpen for the Beacons, freshman right-hander.
Still no activity in the Babson bullpen, which when you're in an elimination game scenario, every inning where you can say that is a big, big win unto itself. 1-1 hook, perhaps a little low.
Not throwing with a lot of urgency there, though. The catcher's standing, no mask on, so maybe just tossing a little.
Shadows starting to creep in as we get into the late afternoon. 2-1. Waved at and missed for strike 2. Forgot all about that. We had the later start today. So the second game starting at 4 o'clock as opposed to in the mid-afternoon. Shadows will be an issue here in game 14.
Very true, John, and there will be no late game today.
Runner goes, got a great jump and will steal second base uncontested. Noki probably should have had a chance to get him there, left early.
Maybe take a look once in a while here. As you can see here, he obviously have Noki's timing down. 1 look and delivered to the plate. Great read. Stolen 100% on the pitcher. That's probably what Harrington wants to talk about here. Really hurt yourself. Not only do you put the runner in scoring position, but there goes any possibility of the double play ball.
Babson turned 4 of them over between their 2 games yesterday. That one on the outside corner for a called strike 3, and Hughey goes down looking, so Hinoki bounces right back to get the second out on the K.
Ball looks like it's right there on the
Second
corner.
baseman,
Ooh, maybe a little bit outside,
number
but if
14,
we can say
Josh
one thing, it's going both ways at least, as they've expanded the zone and he's kind of set where it's going to be.
I think Hughie upset because he was thrown a better pitch than that was called a ball.
Might be right. Now the big deal here is you're facing Josh Lopez, who's already 2 for 2.
Single in the first, double in the second. So that one misses low and away, was involved in that wild play where he tried to take third on a ground ball in front of him and ended up getting away with it because David Lennon dropped the ball off a good throw from Brian McHale at shortstop, opened the door to the 2 runs the Beacons scored last inning.
Think about that, John. If it was just catch that ball, it's probably 4-0.
Quite possibly. One-0 curveball in there for a called strike one.
Saw Lopez throw his elbow out there, seeing if he can get a hit by pitch.
He's 1-1, switches up to the fastball. Not quite a quick pitch there, but such a big difference between that last pitch and what he just threw that he really had the element of surprise.
Yeah, that might even have been a changeup. It was low, looked like it took a little bit of something off it, but certainly mixed up his momentum there. Probably something that Harrington said to him with the runner on second base. Also wanted to talk about the sign sequence.
1-2, misses low and outside. Dan Mantoni waits on deck if the Beacons can get it to him. Big chance for Noki to help Babson get a leg up in this game right now if he could get out of it here. Steps off and looks Searles back to second. Two, misses down in the dirt, blocked there by Harrington. First plane we've heard in the entire tournament. Must be a private plane because there's really no destinations out this way.
Well, the busy season is upon us, John, here in the Cape, and next weekend kicks off with Memorial Day weekend. Maybe the folks are starting to get those private planes flying.
Where would you even land one out here, though?
You would know better than I would.
Marconi Beach?
No idea. Main Street in Chatham?
Unlikely. Payoff pitch, check swing, did he go around?
Not going to check it.
They do appeal, no swing.
Never going to get that call when you wait that long to check it. Never going to get that call when you wait that long to check it. If Harrington pops up and asks for that check right off the bat, maybe you at least get a look. And very close. Looks like he held the bat barrel back.
But we've seen other pitches like that in this tournament where the catcher has been able to buy the call by playing the part immediately out of the crouch. We didn't see it that time.
Absolutely, and a savvy catcher like Harrington, who's so good, I'm surprised he just kind of lackadaisically got ready to flip the ball back to the pitcher, maybe even heard somebody from the dugout. Please check that. If you can come up firing and ask for that check, might catch one of these guys back on their heels, so to speak.
First pitch in for a called strike one. Looked to be outside. They get the strike call on Mantoni, 0-1.
Yeah, looked like that might have been in the other batter's box almost, but strike one nonetheless.
Mantoni is 0 for 2. Flew out to center field in the first, hit into a fielder's choice on that error play and scored the tying run last inning.
Looks like they were going to try to come back inside after getting that call outside. Harrington set up on the inside before he stepped off.
Noki delivers and misses down low, ball ball one.
See there, Harrington set up very much inside, but a missed location, not only away from the inside, but very low.
One curveball hit high and deep to left field. John going back. He's just going to watch it fly. And UMass Boston is in the lead for the first time in Game 14. A no-doubter off the bat of Dan Mantoni. And the Beacons lead it 5-4.
Mislocation there, John. They went away. Catcher set up away. Pitch was inside. Dan Mantoni clears it out. No doubt about it. Kids excited, all fired up coming out of the dugout. The umpires really concerned about that for some reason. Can't let the kids get fired up here, possibly on their way to Appleton. Kids push back into the dugout. Take another look there, no doubt off the bat.
Long gone.
That's what we call a bomb there, John.
Indeed. Matt Noon now going to come out and talk to Michael Noki just to try to get his composure back as Babson now gets some action up in the bullpen.
Cameron Rosa, it looks like, who has 1 inning on the season, unless I'm seeing something.
Baseman, number 15, Kyle
No,
Boudreaux.
I think you're right. Now Kyle Boudreaux comes up to the plate. Boudreaux is 0 for 2, hit into a fielder's choice in the first inning. Had a ground out for an RBI last inning. What a game this has already been, and we're in the 4th inning. Fastball misses outside, ball 1. It's almost like these are the 2 best teams in New England or something.
That's what it looks like. I think even after the first day, John, it looked like these were going to be the 2 teams one way or another.
Alpin boots it on the backhand, then can't find it, so reaching on the error is Boudreaux, and the inning continues, and you get the ever-dangerous Chris Fowler another chance at the plate with a man on. I wasn't convinced Halpin needed to go to the backhand there.
Might be right, eats him up.
The first baseman, number
Had a
40,
lot of time.
Chris Fowler.
Get your body in front of that, maybe take it yourself or provide a good feed to the pitcher covering, but runner at first with 2 down.
First pitch to Fowler gets away from Harrington, and down to second base on the wild pitch is Boudreaux. His 4th inning came unglued on the Babson Beavers real quick. As you said last inning, nobody makes it hurt like Boston.
Absolutely not.
Tidbit
1-0 on the inside corner for called strike 1.
They have been staying away from Fowler. It's been effective so far. Come back across inside there.
We're making the case for Gill. I think you have to say something very similar about Dan Mantoni now as the 1-1 pitch gets in there for a called strike. He had a game that he won as a pitcher yesterday against Suffolk, and if in the event that were to be the game-winning home run here today, there's a lot that has to happen between now and then, but even if that isn't necessarily the game winner, but Boston still wins, he'd have quite the case as that pitch swung on and missed by Fowler, so he goes down swinging, and the side is retired, but too little too late for Babson as UMass Boston goes back in front on the biggest hit of the tournament, the 3-run homer to deep left field by Dan Mantoni. They get those 3 runs on just 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left aboard. Now at the end of 4 full innings of play, UMass Boston has its first lead of Game 14 at 5-4. We'll take a break and come right back. You're watching the 2017 NCAA Division III New England Regional on BTV9 and MMABucks.com.
Today, things move incredibly fast. Competition is brutal. Today belongs to change. If you can't take it on, you won't own tomorrow. But inside all of us is the ability to step up, to seize opportunity, and make things happen. Inside all of us lies an entrepreneur who does more than just invent the new, but reinvigorates the now. Tomorrow belongs to the entrepreneur. Make it belong to you.
Top of the 5th inning here at White House Field in Harwich. 3, 4, and 5 coming to the plate for Babson College as they find themselves trailing for the first time today. Jack Halpin, Ryan Arena, and Sean Harrington, the batters, against Fernando Burgos, who has got himself an advantage for the first time all afternoon. First ball fastball on the outside corner for a called strike 1, 0-1 on Halpin.
Saw that last pitch to end the inning. Looked like maybe a changeup away to Fowler. Got him swinging and missing.
0-1 misses away. Halpin's 1 for 2, grounded out to shortstop to end the first. Had an RBI single back in the 3rd. Lets that one go low and away. Burgos ready is 2-1, taken the other way. It's got enough on it to get into left field for a base hit. Halpin with 2 hits in this game, had 2 earlier, 4 on the day, and he's aboard to lead off the 5th.
Beavers are just relentless, John. It's just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Leadoff single here by Halpin.
The designated hitter, number 37,
Action in the
Ryan
Beacons
Arena.
bullpen.
These two teams have had very similar recipes for success in this bullpen, or this tournament, I mean to say. Not a lot of use of the bullpen, and just a relentless attack 1 through 9. Both teams with only 1 home run in the tournament. Both teams getting it today. This ball 1 misses low to Ryan Arena. He's 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch in the second, and struck out swinging in the third. (1-0) on the outside corner for strike 2.
Both those home runs big, but Dan Mantoni 3-run homer with 2 outs to take the lead back. What a performance.
Burgos steals. That one is strike 2. Burgos fires, grounded foul over toward the Babson dugout.
Arena here, I said it last time, has to be switched to a 2-strike mentality here. Try to do something productive, move the runner. Don't want to strike out. Don't want to hit into a double play.
1-2, dangerous. Misses low and inside. Looked like that was on its way to hit Arena, but took a late break.
Tough to stay in there and get hit on a low pitch. You know, you can talk about standing and doing what you need to do to get on base when it's up in the shoulders or upper thigh or elbow area, but down there's not a lot of meat on the bones in the ankles and shins.
2-2 from Burgos dugout, hit high to right center field. Both outfielders converging. Herzog makes the call and makes the catch in shallow right, 1 gone.
So that's the back-to-back times that
catcher,
Arena's
number
gotten
10,
down early in the
Sean
count.
Harrington.
Thought maybe he'd try to battle back. Struck out last time, pop up there, so make an adjustment here later in the game. Still plenty of baseball to play.
Harrington flew out to right in the second inning and flew out to center in the third, so he's 0 for 2. Looking to help break through as the Beavers look to score for the 3rd consecutive inning to try to answer this 1-run deficit. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. A little extra on the let-go by Burgos.
The Beacons have not quite double barrel action. They, as you know, the third base side, the only of the bullpens with 2 mounds, but they have Bobby Tramandazzi now doing dry drills on one side, not a ball or a catcher, but going through the motions.
So that's an interesting thought, as we've seen what Tremendazzi can do, certainly for UMass Boston. We've seen what Kaufman can do as well. And yes, you do have the mulligan, but at the same time, you have that 2016 Major League playoffs fresh in mind, where you saw coaches and managers seize the day and capture moments as that pitch swung on and missed for strike 2. And we saw so many front-line relievers used early in winnable games to try to just choke off the opponent. Might that be an avenue that Brendan Eigebrodt thinks about going here? If you've still got a lead in the 5th or the 6th, you start to hand it over to those guys that have been the back end of your bullpen all year. As the 1-2 misses in the dirt.
Sure, absolutely. If there's a lead late, you can guarantee you're going to see, if necessary, Kaufman for sure, and maybe Tramandazzi.
But my question to you is late earlier today than it normally would be, given what's on the line?
Yeah, if you have the lead, you go for the jugular. Worry about tomorrow. Even with that buffer zone. You don't want to get to tomorrow.
2-2 from Burgos. Misses low and in.
Anything can happen, as they say, John. The winner takes all.
A lot of things have happened already in this one. Babson's had 2 different leads. UMass Boston just took it over last half inning on the 3-run homer by Dan Mantoni.
Think about it this way. If you have the lead now, and you don't use those guys, and I know you're saying early, not late, but you
Runner
don't use
goes, payoff pitch, taken the other way, close to the line. It's down for a fair ball. Matt Noon's already sending the runner home. This is a carbon copy of Gill's double. Huffing and buffing in from first base is Jack Halpin, and we're tied at 5 on the RBI double to left by Sean Harrington.
Nagel lost his footing a little bit out there as well. I don't think it comes back to bite him as that was going to be a double all the way, but you can see he slips a little bit as well. Could have been worse. Watch him drop the ball down the left field line. Nagel running as hard as possible over there. All right, goes into a slide there, so didn't lose his footing, goes into a slide, uses the fence, gets the ball in.
And how's that for confidence in the big guy from Matt Noon? He couldn't send Jack Halpin fast enough.
Yeah, he had him the whole way. You're absolutely right.
Harrington down at second with the RBI double. Now Eric John the batter. In what's a tie game again for the third time already. We were tied 2-2. And now again here at 5-5, ground ball deep into the hole. Hughie over to get it. His throw not in time. Leg single over to first by Eric John. Harrington stayed at second, so it's now first and second with one out.
That's an awful tough play. Look here. See him running hard all the way out of the box, so it makes the throw very difficult. I think even if Fowler's able to pick that, he's going to be in there, so that's a base hit all the way.
Number 17, Mark Weber.
Smart move by the runner at second base not to go to third and set himself up to get thrown out with ease at third base. We saw that Lopez go to third base on a play similar like that earlier. Would have been out, but the catch wasn't made on the throw.
So now here's Mark Weber. Weber has 7 home runs on the year, the 7th of which was earlier today in that same batter's box. A blast to right field, which cemented the final score as Babson knocked off Suffolk 9-1 to enter the championship round for the first time in program history.
Now, if he answers a 3-run homer with a 3-run homer, which is what you're kind of foreshadowing here, I would be amazed. Imagine that, huh?
I would never do any such thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Here comes Coach Eigebraut out to the mound.
He might be foreshadowing, too.
Wants to talk to everybody, though, so maybe not over for Burgos. Usually
but you've talked about body language. What's up with Burgos being 6 steps off the mound before he knows what the coach is even going to say?
You know, that's tough because 8 times out of 10, I won't say 9, when the head coach comes out, at least with most teams, and I don't know that for a fact with Boston, that usually means the day's over. But you wait on the mound, you talk it over, and you hand the ball off like a gentleman. It looked like Burgos was over there expecting he was done, and not the case. Staying in the game, so it was a confidence boost by Coach Eigebraut, and maybe he wanted to talk to the defense about what we're going to do with just one out. You saw him telling Fowler to come in. Sometimes you just want to talk to the pitcher. Sometimes when you want to talk to the entire infield, head coach will go out there just to let everybody know this is the plan.
Burgos did everything but drop the ball there. Now he's got to get himself back into the game mentally as he's pitching in the biggest spot of the tournament so far. 2 on with 1 out. The pitch is lifted to shallow center. This is going to be another tough one for Sino, going back and caught. Over the shoulder sliding catch by Hughie into center to bring it back for the second out. Tremendous play by Charlie Hughie.
What a tough play if you're a base runner there. You see that ball looked to me like it was going to drop. So I was thinking that runner at second base is going to get thrown out with ease at third. He stays right by the bag, and what a sliding grab.
Now 2 on with 2 out for David Lennon. Lennon's 1 for 2, singled and scored in the third. Struck out swinging in the fourth.
So Coach Eigebraut going out there saying, just get a pop-up here. Pays off.
Ball misses down in the dirt, gets away from the catcher, but not quite far enough away. Very, very close to being far away, but both runners stay put 1-0.
Sure, if they read that ball in the dirt and go, they're probably going to be safe because it skipped away. But if it doesn't skip away with his throwing arm, you're really taking a risk.
Inside move to get the runners back to their bags. Harrington to second, John to first with 2 away. The red-hot Connor Gill waiting on deck. Burgos really wants to bear down here.
Tramandazzi still doing dry drills down in the bullpen.
1-0 pitch, misses down low in the dirt. Another good stop by Searles.
Dry drills, John, are when you no ball, no glove. Sometimes the glove, but no ball and no catcher, and you're just going through your mechanics, working on finishing. Looks like he's working on his hip leads. Tremondazi's really struggled lately, so trying to get himself back going has been such a weapon for the Beacons all season long.
2-0 pitch taken the other way, hangs in right field though, and misplayed in right field by Herzog. It'll go beyond him. One runs in to score. They'll send the second one. The throw is to second base. They'll blow through the stop sign. The other run is in and it counts. The runner's thrown out at third base, but the biggest defensive miscue of the tournament puts Babson back in front as that one got past Herzog, and Lennon ended up getting thrown out down to third, but not before Harrington scored and John scored, and now Babson's back in front 7-5 at the end of 4.5.
Looks like a routine play, and I think we all thought that was going to be the third out. Gets right past him. Got to wonder if the sun was a factor. The run scores, and ill-advised by Lennon heading to third base here. He's out by a mile, and what really could have happened there is imagine if he was tagged out before the second run scored.
Well, I think he knew he was in no real risk of that happening. He's trying to make sure the throw doesn't go to the plate because they had a real chance of scoring the run there. Getting the out there.
The key there, the point I'm trying to make is if you're the runner from third base, sometimes you see it. There's not even a throw. If he had slowed up just a bit and waltzed into home plate knowing there was no play, could have been trouble. Luckily for them, it didn't.
So Babson now back in front.
Now, the umpire's talking this over? No, they're just getting together.
They've given a hit. So what that means is that is an RBI double, 2 RBI double for David Lennon, as the sun must have been an issue if that's how you're going to go about scoring it.
So he's out by a mile at third base.
Right, but that's the point. You're getting the throw to go to third instead of the plate.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
People do it between first and second all the time. You're saying you can't do it between second and third?
I'm saying the throw was already cut off and the runner was going to score no matter what. So you don't need to get...
I don't know about that.
Let's take a look. You can see here he's having a hard time finding the ball because of the sun. Plus the slice away off the right-hand bat is very difficult. We don't know if the wind's a factor. Doesn't look like there's much wind in the flags, but you can feel a breeze up here. Not to try to make excuses for somebody, but that sun could be very tough right now.
First pitch swinging. This is a base hit through the left side by Nick Herzog. So that's a way to get back into the saddle after the miscue. Swings at the first pitch he sees from Noki and puts it into left field for a leadoff single.
Same thing that Babson did last inning.
The left fielder,
answering
number 26,
a 3-run homer by Manconi
Nagel.
with the leadoff single right off the bat. Both these teams relentless.
Leadoff man aboard now for Luke Nagel. Nagel is 1 for 2, singled in the second. Flew out to left in the third, ended the third. First pitch to him misses a little bit low, 1 ball, no strikes. Rosa continues to throw in the Babson pen. 7-5 your score, multi-run innings in each of the last 5 half innings. 1-0, misses down and in.
Working both sides of the plate here, but missed with both those pitches just by a little bit.
And now I flip that over and ask the same question of Babson with Rotuno and Cuneo. At what point do you break glass in an emergency there as that one misses low and away for ball 3?
I think probably very soon, I would think.
.30 pitch. Get me over for a called strike. Nagel was taking all the way.
And what we saw out of those two guys last night, they look like they're very top-end relievers.
Noki's 3-1 on the outside corner for a called strike 2. Nagel was 1 step to first base before he got the bad news from Steve Williams.
Rotuno has 19 appearances, almost 30 innings, 29 1/3, so he's accustomed to going multiple innings.
They have now changed that to an error on that play last inning, and rightfully so. Payoff pitch lifted the other way and foul out of play on the other side. So what that means is that's not a 2 RBI double for Lennon, but rather an error out in right field, as I had originally said.
Cuneo, basically a 1-inning guy all season, 22 appearances, 22 1/3 innings, but Rotuno has been extended.
Just missed the outside corner. Got to think that Noki thinks that's been a strike most of the day.
And he's correct. It has been a strike most of the day.
Nagel down to first, Herzog up to second, and the table set for another answer by UMass Boston in what's rapidly become a heavyweight bout here in Game 14.
Anthony Searles.
Harrington's glove barely moves on that breaking ball. You know that with 3 balls he wasn't setting up off the plate, so tough break there.
Now Anthony Searles the batter. Searles 1 for 2, singled, stole a base, and scored his last time up last inning. Gets under this to left field. Should be playable for John in left. Over by the line, makes the catch. Runner tags to draw the throw, but it's a good throw by John, and so the runners stay put. Searles retired 1 away in the 5th.
Big out by Noki there. Now you're just 1 pitch away.
The center fielder, number 20,
Ball
Sal
skied to left
Frasino.
field. Very high.
Sal Frasino now the batter, 0 for 1. Walked back in the 3rd inning, flew out to left in the 4th. So you get a look at Rosa, who's been throwing for the better part of 15 minutes now. Is that one foul tipped down low, no balls and a strike.
Cameron Rosa, 1 inning, 1 appearance, 1 start. So, interesting.
Good looking pitch there, also not called a strike. Heck of a time for the outside corner to disappear.
Rosa, freshman, so I was double checking if maybe he was a returning player coming off of injury or something like that, but nope. Freshman, 1 appearance, 1 inning, according to the stats.
There's almost certainly more to the story than that. Allow me to investigate.
That is why we're both diligently looking and checking our sources to figure out what's going on.
1-1. I mean, if that's not going to be a strike anymore, this game could be 20-19.
We talked about earlier, all you can ask is for consistency and for it to be called both ways. The strike zone has completely disappeared here in the 5th inning.
Which is awfully early. 2-1. This is down in the dirt now because you can't throw the same pitch as you used to throw. And it's a hitter's count for Frasino.
You've got to be frustrated if you're Babson here. All of a sudden, the strikes that have been strikes all game are no longer strikes. You can see here maybe pointing into the dugout, but that's the Boston side, so thought maybe he was going to be warning somebody to keep it quiet, but just pointing.
3-1 pitch, hit on the ground down to shortstop. Bad read on the ball, and it gets through into center field. In to score from second is Herzog on the RBI single by Sal Frasino. It's now a 7-6 ball game, and Sean McHale lunged toward third base first, and by then it was too late.
I got to think that maybe that was part of him getting back into his defensive stance. You see here, he hadn't had his feet set yet when the pitch was delivered. He was indeed moving towards that hole between third and second, just like you said, and that cost him a potential double play.
29, Charlie
Turns into a
Hughes.
single.
So Herzog in from second, Nagel up to second, and that will complete the day for Michael Noki. Gotta tell you, all things considered, a freshman in an elimination game against a lineup like this, 4 1/3 innings, leaving with the lead, that's about as much as you can ask.
Yeah, not a bad job considering, 6 runs doesn't sound great, but 2 of those are unearned, and he was pitching very well at the time, which added additional pitches to his pitch count and kind of got him out of his rhythm. Then one big mistake in the 4th. You had 2 outs to Mantoni, 3-run homer, big mistake there. And then here, all of a sudden, the strike zone completely gone, squeezed to the max. And we have number 25.
And that's Cameron Rosa. So you get another freshman pitcher in relief, listed at 6'2", 190 pounds, out of Ellington, Connecticut. And he comes into a major jam with the lead down to 1 run, but you almost can't even think of it as a lead right now. I mean, I think we can both agree here there's no way you're winning the game 7-6. So you almost have to pitch without regard for the score right now.
Number 25, Cameron Rosa.
I kept waiting to make sure that was indeed Cameron Rosa because the statistics make you wonder what the scoop is, but obviously something here that we don't see. We don't know Cameron Rosa. Looks like he's throwing it pretty well here in warm-ups. But yeah, you're right, John. 7-6, most likely not going to be the final score here unless Cameron Rosa is better than advertising the stats and can put up a bunch of zeros here. But a big spot for the freshman.
And like we mentioned, now Ken Rotunno right behind him up and throwing. Usually Babson's 8th inning guy when they have their druthers, but they don't today, and they probably will never have their druthers again if they're going to play against nothing but the national elite the rest of the way.
Absolutely right.
And so here he is in the 5th getting loose.
Rosa looks pretty good to me. These warm-up pitches are hard. They're firm. The slider looks good. There's got to be more to the story, like you said, John.
Gets the ball in a huge spot here. Charlie Hughey, the batter. Hughey is 0 for 2.
Another thing that makes it look interesting is that the one appearance with 1 inning and 1 start. So they started them.
He's been rehabbing from arm surgery for most of the spring, but the coaches are very high on him, reports Sports Information Director Jeremy Beans. Tip of the cap to him in that situation. That would make a lot of sense. Over the top fastball, down in the dirt, blocked by Harrington. 1 ball, no strikes.
What a spot to come into.
Right.
Another thing to consider here as well is, I don't know the story, but if you've been out on surgery all year, you're basically giving up that red shirt, medical red shirt you could get.
Yeah, hard to get that back now if they put you out there with the whole season on the line. But if I were him, I would do it.
Sure. Never know when you're going to be in this spot again.
Right?
Never before in program history, so.
Tomorrow promised to no one, as you know. Now they're going to show bunt on 2-0. Pulled back.
Straight take the whole way. Talked about that early in the tournament, too. Some teams or some players like to throw the barrel out there for some reason, think that maybe it distracts the pitcher. Taking again, most likely. There you go, the fake bunt.
Pulls back, and it's a 4-pitch walk. So Rosa threw 4 pitches, looking like a guy that's pitched only once all season, and the bases are now loaded with 1 away.
How much leash do you give
Second baseman, number 14,
Take a look at all
Josh
4 pitches.
Lopez.
In the dirt, nowhere near the strike zone. Outside and low.
Tell Matt Noon making his calculation was just hoping upon hope that
Way
Noki
outside.
could give him 1 more inning.
And not one of those 4 pitches was anywhere near the zone, so you'll have a take here.
Now Josh Lopez, who's 2 for 2, the batter, he's been all over the bases for Boston. Lopez singled in the first, doubled and scored in the third, walked and scored last inning. (1-0) in there for a called strike 1.
So there you go, first strike.
UMass Boston fans really wearing Cameron Rosa out now, as you see there.
Now, in his 1 inning of work, he did not have any walks, but did give up 2 hits and a run.
1-1 pitch, hit the other way. This would be a hit and runs plural, as that one's down for a base hit. 2 runs are going to come in and score. And UMass Boston has come back and taken the lead for the second time in as many innings, as they're now in front 8-7 on the 2 RBI single off the bat of Josh Lopez.
And you see Josh Lopez celebrating. Bat flip like he's Manny Ramirez going deep as he hits a flare into right field for a single, but a big hit, about as big as it gets.
And that will be a very quickly ended failed experiment for Cameron Rosa. Gave it what he had, wasn't good enough against this tremendous lineup. And now Ken Rotunno will be back out there in familiar surroundings, trailing by a run in an elimination game.
So you get a closer look at the extended celebration by Josh Lopez, very excited and fired up. And
it's like when Carl Everett broke up Mike Mussina's perfect game right there.
So, I mean, hey, if you're going to hit a flare single, might as well be a 2-run flare single to take the lead in the championship game of the NCAA Regional.
Still doesn't take the cake over Tommy Seaver last night, getting 1 out on a terrible pitch and celebrating like he just won the World Series. As Rotunno now comes into pitch.
I love these kids playing and having fun, man. They love the fire. You saw a lot of fist pumping last night from different pitchers as they battled.
22, Ken Rotunno.
Rotunno making his 3rd appearance of the tournament. He's 1-0 in 2 innings of work. No runs on 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, and no walks. Worked a very tidy 8th inning against Salve yesterday. That would be a literal bird's eye view that you just had there.
Absolutely perched high above.
We really wasted that GoPro on Scott yesterday. If we could have strapped that to the bird today, I mean, that would have been like almost the Goodyear blimp type of a thing.
I wouldn't have been surprised with the type of doodads and things these guys are pulling out. They got the wireless camera out there, the home run camera. I mean,
missed opportunity by Nick, though. I wanted to see him do that ESPN thing where he holds it down low and follows the base runner around from third, coming home on the home run. That would have been big if he'd been able to do that from Antoni.
Yeah, that's you probably got to get clearance for that. You don't want to be on the field. And
did Craig Sager ask for clearance when he got Hank Aaron at home plate on home run 715?
Probably not.
There you go. You don't know the names of the people that asked for clearance.
That's a fact.
First one's in there for a called strike to Antoni, who hit that monstrous home run that turned this game around last inning, gave UMass Boston at the time a 5-4 lead. 8-7, UMass Boston in front right now. It's hard to keep track of the score. It's been changing so much both ways as that one's up and in.
Back and forth, as you would expect on the Babson side, as they're so deep into their pitching staff. So Boston still has so many arms available, only in their 4th game of the tournament.
I mean, the good side of things for Babson is they've had 5 really good starts, but now you've got 6 pitchers dressed in suits out there that are completely unavailable for this game, you would think.
Sure, that's true.
1-1 popped up into foul territory. Halpin racing over, and it's out of play for strike 2.
Wow, nice grab out there.
Very nice grab.
What do you got? You got a dad or a former player, maybe?
Sometimes they're one and the same.
Very true. The timeout here as a ball is in the field of play over behind the...
He didn't throw it back, did he?
I don't think so. I think that's just a different ball.
That'd be excessive. Noki's 1-2 line at the shortstop. Was it caught on the line? Yes, it was. And they call him safe back at first. Now the runner's got to get back from third. The throw across the diamond will get the double play over there. Bananas ending to this inning. A 4-3-5 double play to get Rotunno out of the jam and limits the damage to a 1-run inning. And Brendan Igabrod saying, no. Get everybody together. There's 6 of you here. You got to talk about this. And that's what's going to happen. Did it hit the ground or was it caught on the line is the question, and a very significant question at that.
You can't overturn that, John, at this point with all those guys out there. The best umpire that had the view was right on the spot. He signaled out for a catch in the air. If he hadn't, you could have just gone on to second base for the traditional 6-4-3 double play. So if you change this now, I mean, what are you going to do? Start putting guys back?
Not for nothing, Hughie never touched home plate.
No,
so
absolutely
if you grant
not.
the run, that would be wild.
You can't do that. I mean, you got to get together and say, your closest guy, it looked like a catch on the replay. Your closest guy there signaled out.
I thought the call was wrong at first base on the throw to first.
Yeah, I thought he might have had him there as well. So we got 6 umpires. 2 of them are going to conference with Igabrod, probably maybe a crew chief plus the home plate. I don't know.
They're pointing at bases other than first, which should lead you to believe that something might go Brendan Igabrod's way here.
He's shaking his head no. Maybe he's trying to get that run,
well,
but
wants
like
the
you
run.
said, that runner never crossed the plate. And so he's trying to say that he saw a safe signal out there. So I don't think they are going to overturn this, as you keep seeing Coach Igabrod say, pointing at somebody and say, he said safe, which maybe is why that he's saying the runner from third wouldn't have left. So maybe he's trying to get... But, I mean, you can't. I don't know what to say.
Getting salty over on the Babson side right now in the stands.
Yeah, why not? And you've seen a lot of calls go UMass Boston's way. But it doesn't look like this is going to be one of them, the way Coach Igabrod's arguing.
Now, you have a viewing public and a watching audience at home that needs to know what's going on. I mean, we haven't seen any signs or any pronouncements.
So, what is happening?
We've got a Babson batter walking to the box, but I mean, that could just be an effort. So there you go.
So
it's a double play.
take another look. Catch. Looks like a catch to me, John.
And that was it from shortstop. So that would actually be a 6-3-5 double play. That's a new one for me.
I don't see any umpire signaling safe, so I don't know if there's another angle with that.
Is Lopez safe at first? Not for nothing. Maybe he was.
Very close at first. He might have been out, but I mean, that's regardless.
Didn't look like he had either foot on the bag there.
No, he looked like he was out, and that's why the first baseman was going to appeal that bad call, but doesn't come out to cost him anything.
In the meantime, how does Hughie go home in that spot? And that might have been the gist of Eigerbro's argument. He sees the safe sign over at first, thinks it's the call on the batted ball.
Well, I think what you can't see in the replay is, remember, there's 2 more umpires out of the screenshot down the third base line. Maybe one of those guys flashed a safe sign, and I don't know why they would, but here's another look at that play at first. See if we can get a rewind. Oop, just not going to be able to see it. He is...
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now pitching for UMass Boston.
So he's out at first base anyway, and you see Josh Lopez thinks he's out, and then all of a sudden sees the safe sign and runs back to first base. So
had there been no outs, that could have been a triple play.
Yeah. Although that would have been a triple play had there been no outs.
And now it looks like UMass Boston has gone into its bullpen as Burgos gets the hook after 5 innings of work, and they will go to Josh Gerson out of the pen, a freshman right-hander from Melville, New York, and Walt Whitman High. Gerson on the season, 2-0, making his 10th appearance, his 6th in relief, a 2.38 ERA. He's given up 8 runs, 6 of them earned on 15 hits. He's gone 22 2/3 innings, 23 strikeouts to 9 walks. Opponents batting 188 against him.
Well, we'll see if this base running miscue comes back to bite Boston.
The only way it wouldn't is if Gerson goes Madison Bumgarner here. And that's really the only way it can't in a 1-run game, because the alternative is Babson scores at some point to either tie or take the lead.
It's a similar play in the conference tournament where a ball was caught in the outfield and didn't look like any of the Babson runners
the second baseman,
had
number
tagged
7,
up. The
Connor Gill.
defending team went around the diamond for what appeared to be a triple play, but Coach Eigerbrow and the umpires got together and decided that the base runners had tagged up and awarded the run and subsequent base runners to the Beacons. I was there for that.
Made you a free agent for broadcasting, though, so look at the bright side.
Sure did.
First pitch misses outside for ball 1 to Connor Gill. And you might just want to walk Connor Gill with the bases empty at this stage. Today, he is 6 for 7 with 2 doubles and 2 RBI. 1-0 misses well outside, and maybe that's what they're thinking.
Tough to do that to the 9-hitter to lead off the inning, bring the top of the order back up.
This isn't your father's 9-hitter.
That is an absolute fact.
.2-0 popped up. They'll keep him in and maybe even get him out. Hughie goes back, makes the call, and makes the catch. And finally, Connor Gill sent back to the dugout.
Our New England brethren around
the center fielder,
the other regionals not faring so
Weiss.
well right now. University of Southern Maine trailing in the elimination game for the championship, winner take all. And our friends over at Wheaton has to be beaten twice, but they're also trailing in game 1.
First pitch in there for a called strike 1 to Jake Weiss. Weiss is 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, an RBI, and a sacrifice bunt. They say in normal, in any given game, the 27th out is the hardest to get. The regional championship is like a game-long 27th out.
It's a grind.
Now the 1-1 hit the other way. Got a beat on it, though, does Herzog, or so I thought. He is getting eaten alive in right field, and Babson is taking it to the bank. Into second base is Jake Weiss, and you have to wonder if Herzog can stay out there the way this is going.
That sun has just got to be so tough. You can tell by how defensive he gets with it. It's one thing to lose it and make an error, but watch here as Herzog comes into your frame, he gets...
He's not close to the ball.
Nope, he's not. I thought from up way back here it looked like he was trying to defend himself from maybe getting hit by the ball, but I was wrong. That's just a bad play.
Brian
I'm sure the sun is a factor, but
well,
it wasn't like I thought. That was
going to stay. The shadows are creeping in from the third base side, so right field's going to remain in the sun for most of the game. Although, obviously the pace is slowed here with all these runs scoring. So at a minimum, you've got to move him to left field where he can get in the shade.
And we have noted the last two games, Herzog has finished the game in left field. So generally of your outfielders, you put your best defender in center, your second best defender, stronger arm, in right field. And left field's where you can kind of hide somebody, Nagel a big bat that they can get out in left field, used to play first base. So he has been finishing the games in left field.
1-0 pitch. Called a strike.
Didn't look like one.
No. Brian McHale, 1 for 3, had an RBI single in the third, popped out to short in the first, flew out to center in the fourth. Inside move there, and Gerson doing an El Duque impersonation there.
Yeah, came up very hard and fast there with the inside move. It's tough to be deceptive when you change that much.
8-7, the UMass Boston lead in the top of the sixth. Time call just before Gerson's pitch, and good on Steve Williams. That looked like it was going to go on forever.
Yeah, and a little bit late on the granting timeout. Glad he did, but ball was released, kind of came towards Steve Williams, like maybe the pitcher was let that thing fly a little bit.
There's a Cape Codder, Neil McDonough, who was the actor that played Bass, the pitcher in Angels in the Outfield that used to do that.
All right.
1-1 pitch. Hit off the handle of the bat to left field. Going back is Nagel. He's still going back, but he's got room and makes the catch. Weiss retreats to second, 2 out in the sixth.
So now with 2 outs, can the Beavers make the error hurt? Boston has taken advantage of so many, and like we said, every time you make a mistake, the Boston's going to make it hurt. And can they wiggle out of this without a run scoring, or can Babson cash in?
No. Ty Cobb of the Babson program stepping to the plate right here. Program leader in career hits with 202, including 2 in this game. Singled and scored back in the fifth. Brendan Eigebrot now back out to the bump.
Don't believe anybody's ready in the bullpen. Nobody has their glove on, but...
Would you walk him here maybe to go to Arena, who has only 3 hits in the tournament?
Might be what they're talking about. You got the best hitter on the team.
Also give you a righty versus a righty.
Now you just hope that if that's what Coach Eigebrot wants to do, you hope he doesn't let anybody talk him out of it. Maybe he's going out there to say, this is what we're thinking.
No, you're going to make a pitching change. Well, that was quick.
Looks like it's going to be Tramandazzi, so he must have mixed in some actual warm-up tosses between all those dry drills we were looking at earlier.
So Josh Gerson, we hardly knew you as he faces 3 batters. Goes 2/3 of an inning, and Tramandazzi, who was their closer earlier in the tournament, comes in. Brendan Eigebrot feeling like maybe with the game on the line right here and now with the tying run and scoring position in the sixth.
There was a game during the early regular season where UMass Boston had a lead, similar to now, and it was 2 outs in the sixth when Coach Eigebrot went to Matt Tully against us, UMass Boston at UMass Dartmouth. Beacon's leading at the time. 2 outs in the sixth. Matt Tully comes in relief and wound up getting the loss, so wonder if there's a chance for history to repeat itself, or if Tramandazzi can come in here and most likely be available for extra or multiple innings, close the door.
Tramandazzi did not have a good day in his outing against Penn State Berks when an inning and a third, gave up 3 runs, 2 earned on 4 hits, took a blown save in that game. And so he's going to have to shake that off, has had a couple of days to get over it.
Well, remember, John, 2 of those outs came on an absolute laser line drive to second base where the base runner had creeped off a second and Lopez flipped over for the double play. So even worse than it sounds.
even though his numbers for the year, however, much better.
Fantastic. Second team all-conference.
3-2 with a 2.86 ERA. This is his 23rd appearance. He's gone 34 2/3 innings. He's given up 14 runs, 11 earned on 38 hits, 38 strikeouts to 9 walks, 275 opponent batting average, so more
Ladies
than
and
4
gentlemen, your
strikeouts
attention,
for every 1
please.
walk.
Tremendazzi's going
Now
to feature a
pitching for
lot of
UMass
breaking balls,
Boston,
which he
number
throws for
12,
strikes. So he
Bobby
can get ahead with a
Tremendazzi.
slider, and then he can throw an even better slider to get you to chase out of the zone. He throws a pretty good fastball, too, with movement the other way. So he's got a slider that runs away from righties or into lefties here, and then his two-seamer that'll go away. He's got some velocity. He's a strike thrower, as you mentioned, only 9 walks.
Tremendazzi with 6 saves on the season, most on the team.
Oh, yeah, he's the closer.
So a closer in to face a program all-time hit record holder with a tying run on base in the 6th inning. Having fun yet?
The one thing that it seemed, though, as happened in this tournament is they kind of flip-flopped roles as Brian Kaufman, who's been the setup guy, utility guy, many, many innings, 57 innings, 20 appearances, has kind of been that middle setup guy, and Tremendazzi's been the closer. Beacons kind of flipped that last time with Kaufman in the back end role.
Tremendazzi's 0-1. Halpin just missed it down the handle of the bat, 0-2.
Kaufman's been outstanding all year long, including in this tournament, including in the Little East Conference tournament, where he pitched 6 innings in relief against UMass Dartmouth with 12 strikeouts in the championship game.
Ryan Arena waiting on deck, 0-2 in the ball game. Halpin 2-3 with a pair of singles. 0-2 pitch, hit the other way, popped up, should be playable for Nagel. Nagel's got a beat on it, and he makes the catch for the out that retires the side. So Herzog gets baffled in right field again, but it is inconsequential this time around. No runs on the one hit, no errors, and one left.
No one hit.
And at the end of 5.5 innings of play, your score, UMass Boston 8 and Babson 7. That's a big 0 and a subtle but very important shift in this game, because this is going to be the first time all day long that UMass Boston has come to bat with the lead. They've had leads in the game, but they have not started an inning at the plate with the lead. They get that opportunity here, and this is now a pressure inning for Ken Rotundo to try to keep it right here. For as well as Babson has played all through yesterday and today, you can forget that the clock is ticking on them. They're now down to 9 outs in their season if they continue to trail. All the umpires meeting in shallow right field, as they've had an awfully difficult day at the office so far.
Not all the umpires. They've left out
all of the dark blue jersey wearing
umpires. They've left out the ugly duckling in the blue jersey, so to speak. So the one that does not match, sticking out like a sore thumb, left behind. One thing that you called out, John, or you asked early was, would they go to each team kind of having 2 guys that appear to be their go-to guys, their setup, or utility guy, and then their closer. Would either team go to it early, and would Boston go to it early since they have the additional day and there could be another game? And the answer is an astonishing yes. Both teams have their setup guy and closer in the 6th inning.
Leading off for UMass Boston.
In the UMass Boston 6th, it'll be Kyle Boudris, Chris Fowler, and Nick Herzog. 3, 4, and 5 in the Beacon order. First pitch. This is a little bit outside. 1 ball, no strikes on Boudris. Boudris is 0-3, hit into a fielder's choice in the first inning, grounded out for an RBI in the third, and reached on an error his last time up. Fouls that one back, 1-1.
Rotundo has to match that 0.
One hit on the ground down to shortstop and bobbled there by McHale, gets into left. And so now Babson, which has been very sure-handed defensively, commits an uncharacteristic error. The defense has deteriorated on both sides, and this game has just turned into a scramble.
This is a routine ground ball to shortstop. You can see he's got plenty of time. It goes right under his glove and right between his legs into the outfield. E6.
The first baseman, number 40, Chris Fowler.
Wasn't hit that hard. Probably perfect fungo speed for the ground ball.
Chris Fowler now steps up. Fowler I mean, he's been an absolute dude this year for UMass Boston. We've yet to see it really in the tournament. He got a hit in the first game to extend his hitting streak to 37. It ended, and he really just has not been that guy that we've heard so much about this year. What's changed in his at-bats in this tournament versus when you saw him last week?
Maybe it's just the way he's being pitched. You can see here in the last couple of at-bats, they've been trying to stay away, and the catcher sets up away again.
First ball fastball misses away.
Even with the off-speed stuff, everything's kind of away, and Fowler, where he's been adjusting to that most of the season, willing to use the entire field, he continues to hit ground balls to the pull side on pitches that are away.
And nobody throwing behind Rotuno right now, and that's just the thing. If you go to him this early, he's got to give you multiple innings. This pitch hit out to left field. John now sprinting back, running over, and he doesn't catch the ball. It lands in fair territory. Late break on it for Boudreaux. He will have to hold at third, but it's second and third for UMass Boston with nobody out in the sixth.
Again, maybe the sun coming into play in left field here. It looks like an awfully strange route to the ball. Take a look. Sprayed out there. Now, while that ball is hit well, it's up there for an awful long time. It's not at the fence and drops right there on the warning track for a double.
34, Nick Herzog.
Talked about using the whole field. He goes the opposite way there, puts a good charge into it, but that looked like a ball that needs to be caught in a championship game.
Runners at second and third now with nobody out. That one's in for a called strike one to Nick Herzog, speak of the devil. Herzog certainly can sympathize with what John just went through out there.
2 errors already for Herzog in the outfield.
2 plays of note. The last one was scored a hit because he was so far away from the ball, and that one misses outside for ball 1. And I believe that last one might have been as well on John.
The Herzog one was scored a hit?
The second one was, yes.
Oh, okay. He did cover some ground there.
1-1, misses low and in. Now 2 balls and a strike. Fastball missed up and in.
Now, if Rotuno continues to struggle, what do you do?
Well, that's just it. That's why you want to stay out of the losers bracket. No, I'm not sure there's an answer to that question.
I mean, you got Cuneo. You can extend him, but he's been a one-inning guy all season long.
3-1 pitch. In there for a called strike at the knee, full count. Now the payoff pitch inside for ball 4. Bases loaded with nobody out, and UMass Boston has got a chance to rip this thing wide open in the bottom of the 6th.
Now you had first base open,
The
so
left fielder, number
walking
26,
Herzog.
Luke
Okay, he's the
Nagel.
5th hitter. He's been hot all season long, but there's no relent here. Luke Nagel is on deck, and he's one of the best hitters on the team.
Nagel is 1 for 2 in this game. Singled in the second, flew out to left to end the third. Walked and scored last inning.
Babson will keep the middle infield back for the double play. Corners in, so they will give up an out for a double play up the middle. They'll come to the plate if it's hit first or third.
It's got to put an extra bounce in your step as a hitter for this Boston lineup to see that empty bullpen right now, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
First pitch swinging. That one fouled off to the side. No balls and 1 strike. Babson playing in their 6th game in 4 days, and it's starting to show as their pitching has been stretched very, very thin. The 0-1 misses away. Count even at a ball and a strike. Beavers got several timely double plays in their 2 victories yesterday. They are in sore need of one here.
What they could really use
Got
is
one last inning, as a matter of fact.
That's a fact.
1-1, again hit off the very end of the bat, strike 2.
Staying away from Nagel here with either a 2-seam or a change-up, trying to get him to try to roll over that pitch and hit a ground ball to second base. What they could really use is a hard ground ball to first base or third base, come home for 1, on to first for 2. That would be
nice.
That would be the break they need, or even a line drive like they got last inning. It's got to be at somebody, though.
Rotuno deals a 1-2, blocked in the dirt by Harrington.
Another change up there.
And if you're Rotuno, Want to come with whatever your best pitch is here to avoid that 3-ball count.
Get to a full count, and pressure's really on. No place to put him.
Two-two pitch, popped up, will get out of play.
Oftentimes, whatever you throw in a 2-2 count, if you have bases loaded and you miss to get to a full count, you generally come back with that same pitch.
Now a 2-2 hit on the ground. They'll come to the plate for an out there. Now the throw down to first is late, so the bases remain loaded, but they get the potential insurance run cut down at the plate 1-2 on the fielder's choice. Boudris is erased now. Fowler to third, Herzog to second, and Nagel at first with one out.
Get the chopper there, right back.
Number 13, Anthony Searles.
Throw is a little bit slow from the pitcher to home, but you want to make sure that you get the lead runner. You can't get a double play without getting the first one. The most important out was recorded, so a nice accurate throw by Rotuna. Now he's one pitch away from getting out of this.
First pitch to Searles could be that pitch. Down to shortstop. They'll go to second for one. Back to first. Double play! And Babson gets out of another major jam in the 6th.
That's the lift you need there from your defense to come back and fire up your offense. Bases loaded and nobody out. Take a look. First they get the ground to the pitcher. Here's the double play. 6, 4.
UMass Boston in the bottom of the 6th.
Question for you.
Yes.
Herzog tries so hard to avoid the ball. If he lets the ball hit him, the run scores, doesn't it? Or do they put him back at third?
That is a good question, because if the ball hits him, he's out. The runner's out. If you get hit by a batted ball in fair territory, you're out as the runner. I don't know if the base runners are all reset after that, or if you're just out and it plays on. That would be a dead ball, so I would think you would not score.
Feel free to chime in on Twitter if you know. We'll be right back. You're watching the 2017 NCAA Division III New England Regional here on BTV9 and MMABucks.com.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance, a monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
While they're focused on success, we're focused on them. Because protecting college athletes doesn't only happen on the field. After the buzzer, it's about healthier student athletes. So we're reforming to meet their needs, investing in groundbreaking research, and changing the conversation around mental health. We're working hard to protect college athletes, because prioritizing their well-being creates a pathway to a lifetime of opportunity.
Ryan Arena leads it off against Bobby Tremendazzi, the top flight reliever brought in the 6th, remains on in the 7th in what's improbably still a one-run game. Ball one misses outside to Arena, who's 0 for 2. John Cabral alongside Sean Manfredo. And we've got to get back into how that last inning ended just a second ago, as that one's in for a called strike. Babson, let's not beat around the bush, had its season and its mortality flash before its eyes last inning with nobody available in the bullpen. Bases loaded, nobody out, already trailing as that's fouled back. And Ken Rotuno gets out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam without allowing a run.
That was spectacular, and the ground ball to the pitcher was obviously the big one. He was able to get the first out, coming home to the plate, get the first out, and then come right back and roll up the double play ball.
1-2 curveball, hits deep left, going back, still going back, reaching up, making the catch, and then losing the ball is Luke Nagel. Is that a home run? It ought to be. And it is! Babson ties the game, even more improbably, as Ryan Arena leaves the arena to tie the game at 8 in the 7th. Just when you think you've seen it all in Game 14, it's only just begun. Let's have another look. Player reaction tells you all you need to know. Nagel was looking to show the ball to the umpire, couldn't believe he didn't have it, looked back and got the bad news.
Now you got Coach Eigerbrout making his way out to left field. I wonder if he wants to talk to Nagel, see if he's okay. Maybe that'll give us a chance to look at that one more time.
Let's take some extra looks at that. Another huge twist and turn in this one.
See Nagel drifting back. Looks like he's got a bead on it. It is completely in his glove. He hits the fence with his face. The ball's on the ground.
Babson obviously has a long way to go to winning this regional, but you are putting together some extraordinary pieces of a very, very intricate jigsaw puzzle here this week.
All the momentum is in Babson's favor now. What a spectacular ending to the last inning. Bases loaded with nobody out. Get out of that jam somehow, and then lead off with a home run?
You just can't beat playoff hockey.
I guess not.
0-1 pitch misses away. 1 ball, 1 strike on Sean Harrington. Harrington with an RBI double back in the 5th, came around to score. Flew out twice previous to that. Rotuno remains on the 1-1. Misses inside. Two-1 in there for a called strike.
So I have the answer, and it's as I thought, to that ground ball if it had hit him.
2-2, skied to center field. Frasino over to get it. No pesky fences in the way this time, and there's one out.
The ball's dead, and all the other runners return, is what it says. In that case, the base is loaded.
The left fielder, number 27, Eric
The batter
John.
was not technically out, so he would get first. The other runners would return. You'd still have bases loaded.
Well, you can't return a runner to first base because then you'd have two at the same base.
You wouldn't have a runner at second
incorrect.
either. Oh.
Pitch is in for a called strike one. 0-1 on Eric John. John is 1 for 3. Flew out to right in the 2nd, reached on an error and scored in the 4th. Singled and scored in the 5th. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now, I could spend the rest of this broadcast continuing to research, or I could just move on, and I'm just going to move on. Double play.
John fouls that one away, 1-2. Mark Weber on deck has the only other home run of the tournament for Babson. Both of them have come today. One-two, foul tipped into the mid. Great slider there, swung on and missed, 2 down.
Talked about Tramandazzi's breaking ball. He can throw it for strikes. He can throw it out of the zone.
The right fielder, number 17,
been fantastic
Mark
all season
Weber.
long for the Beacons. Take another look.
That's not a hittable pitch.
Very tough pitch. That's in the zone. Even if he doesn't swing, that might be a strike.
2 down for Mark Weber. Weber 0 for 3 in this game after homering in the win over Suffolk. That one's in for a called strike 1. Weber flew out to center to end the 2nd, fouled out to the catcher in the 4th, and popped out to shortstop in the 5th. 0-1 ripped down the line. That'll get down into right field for a hit. Weber is going to hit first, and he will stop there. Very well played by Herzog over and right to get to it, and holds Weber to a 2-out single.
Now, I got to wonder how long they'll go with Tramandazzi. He has been known to extend, and so has Kaufman. So they're 2 key guys. Can extend multiple innings, but in a tie game as well. Be interesting to see.
Now David Lennon, the batter. Lennon is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 3rd, struck out swinging in the 4th, but then hit that ball out to right field that Herzog couldn't get to. As ball 1 misses away, as Babson finished off that big inning in the 5th, wherein they scored 3 runs to bounce back from a deficit to take another lead. (1-0) misses low and away.
UMass Boston went to Bobby Tramandazzi in the first round of the Little East Conference tournament against Rhode Island College. He went 4+ innings shutout to get the win in that game, so he will extend.
2-0 from Tremendazi, misses low and inside for ball 3.
That was a game that the Beacons walked off on Rhode Island College.
Connor Gill, who has 6 hits in 2 games today, waits on deck.
It's my guy, Connor Gill. His kid's on fire.
3-0, misses up high, 4-pitch walk to Lennon. And Tremendazi, who very nearly had 3 outs in a row off the home run, now has a jam with 2 away.
Since the 4 2/3 outing against Rhode Island College, he's gone 1/3 of an inning with 2 runs, 2/3 of an inning with 1 run, 1 in the 3rd innings against Penn State Burke, which you talked about, with 4 runs. So since that extension, he hasn't been as sharp as he was all season long.
Time called now. It's going to be a conference on the mound. It's a shame baseball's so boring. If we could just introduce a lot of new rules to make it hip to the kids, then maybe those darn millennials might watch and enjoy this sport. But right now it just stinks, and we really need to radically change everything about it.
Well, I think that somewhere between 36,000 and 40,000 of our viewers would disagree.
Oh, yeah, right.
As we've had quite a bit of people turning into the BTV broadcast of this tournament.
Interesting, you should say that.
There can't be that many moms and dads out there, so somebody has to be enjoying the baseball.
So you don't think that if we banned intentional walks, of which we've had 1 in the entire tournament, that would make it more interesting than it is now?
I can't believe that, really. You're almost baiting me again, as I can't stand that. The intentional walk is going to speed up the game, and we've lost games at UMass Dartmouth.
Maybe if we could put a bunch of clocks up somewhere.
Maybe a pitch count
That'd
clock.
do it. That'd make this interesting. That'd get my blood pumping.
Intentional walk one. That'll get me going.
First pitch in for a called strike 1 to Connor Gill.
I hope that rule doesn't trickle down. The third to first rule has not. So
Gill is 2 for 3, singled and scored in the 3rd, RBI double and scored in the 4th. Oh, 1 misses low.
Pretty good looking pitch by Tremendazi, but doesn't get the call. A little low.
Tremendazi's 1-1 curveball, check swing. It's called a strike at the plate.
Yep.
Apparently on location.
Connor Gill asks, is that on the swing or the location? And he's told by Steve Williams location. The consistency of the strike zone has certainly varied. You saw those calls not going in Babson's favor.
1-2 pitch, another hook, that one outside, and outside enough to be called a ball, 2-2.
Seems like that strike only disappeared for a half an inning. It was there for both sides all game. All of a sudden it was gone, now it's back. Tough to feel your way around the strike zone if you're a hitter.
Tremendazi kicks his 2-2, hit up the box, down to deep second base, gloving it there and stepping on second for the out that retires the side is Lopez. Babson gets the equalizer on the extraordinary home run in and out of the glove of Luke Nagel and over the fence. That was one of their 2 hits in the inning, no errors, and they leave 2 runners aboard. 7th inning stretch time at White House Field in Harwich, and we're right back where we started, tied at 8. Don't go anywhere. We're watching the NCAA Division III New England Regional on BTV9 and MMABucks.com. Here's another look at the round trip of my arena.
He has it in his glove, hits the fence, and it comes out. You see kind of, John, how his glove's kind of facing over, hanging over, hooked over the fence there, and that allows it to open up and drop over the fence.
And it's amazing. He felt it hit his glove and thought that he had it even after he'd lost it. Went to show it off and couldn't believe he didn't have it.
It was in there. It was in the way.
Right. Crusino, Hughie, and Lopez will be the 3 hitters scheduled in the bottom of the 7th for UMass Boston. And important to remember now that they are the home team in this game. So, I mean, for as wacky as these last 3 innings have been, they might not have the momentum, but they still have the competitive advantages in this game. You think they probably have a few more bullets out in that bullpen, and that a game this close, this late, is probably to their favor in spite of everything that we've just seen.
Oh, absolutely, and they've played the less games, so they've only used 4 starting pitchers now, including today, and they still have Brian Kaufman, who might be the best relief pitcher in this whole tournament. So Brian Kaufman's down there, he's waiting, he can extend. They're still in good shape here.
Sal Frasino will lead it off. He'll be followed by Hughie and Lopez. First pitch misses up and away. Frasino is 1 for 2. Walked in the second, flew out to left in the fourth, had an RBI single and scored a run in the fifth.
It's Max Tannenbaum throwing
Fastball
a
missed
little
away.
bit in the Babson bullpen.
It's the Submariner. We've seen him on a couple of occasions so far in the tournament. That one missed low, so quickly a 3-0 count. And
pretty close there. Can't really tell up and down from this angle, but certainly had the plate a little low.
3-0 in there for the courtesy strike. And Rotundo's pitch count not all that high right now at 25, but he's been in 2 separate very high-stress situations in each of the last 2 innings. And a lot of times that can matter more than the pitch count, as that one's fouled down into the Babson bullpen.
That's a fact, and doesn't get any more high stretch than bases loaded with nobody out. Got to wonder when we start to see Cuneo getting loose.
Payoff pitch misses outside, ball 4, and those leadoff walks. Frasino, the go-ahead run at first with nobody out. And in this big swinging, high-flying game with all the extra base hits, the crazy plays with the base runners, the errors, the free running, all these multi-run innings, do you go small and bunt now in a tie game in the 7th?
Well, you're certainly got the right guy up to bat to lay one down.
Hughie showing
there's
bunt.
your answer.
Puts it down, pushes it up the first baseline. Excellent bunt. The throw to first is in time for the out. Halpin to the covering Connor Gill. 3-4 the sacrifice, and Hughie gets Frasino into scoring position.
Now you have Lopez coming up. I don't believe he's been retired today, so you have a runner in scoring position, top of the order. Lopez as hot as anybody. He had the bloop single with 2 RBIs last time up.
Josh Lopez.
Frasino at second for Josh Lopez. Lopez is 3 for 3. He's been on base all 4 times. Had a 2 RBI single his last time up. That was in the 5th, and he really has been a major thorn in Babson's side in this game from the very beginning, as that one misses down low for ball 1.
On base 4 times already here in the 7th, so probably going to get this at bat and maybe another one.
Rotundo's 1-0 in for a called strike 1.
He's kind of been able to go to all fields. The early single he got an inside pitch and drove it into left field. Last time around, flared one into right field, so
1-1 misses away.
tough to pitch to him.
Now the 2-1, that misses low and in. Hitters count now for Lopez. Dan Mantoni, who has the biggest hit of this game, waits on deck.
2-out, 3-run homer for Dan Mantoni earlier in the game. Take the lead.
3-1 pitch, check swing, foul out of play the other way. Another huge pressure cooker of a pitch for Ken Rotundo, and what's been an outing full of them for him already through an inning and 2/3. Payoff pitch, hit on the ground down to shortstop. Up with it is McHale. He throws over to first for the second out. Scooting over to third in the process is Frasino, and he's now 90 feet away from giving Boston the lead back.
Take a look here at Mantoni's home run, 3-run shot with 2 outs inside, cleared out, and this is an absolute bomb.
At the time, gave UMass Boston its first lead of the day at 5-4. But there have been many twists and turns since then to get us to where we are, tied at 8 in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch, a hook from Rotuno and a beauty, in for strike 1.
42 RBIs out of your number 2 guy in the order. Shows you how potent this offense is.
Also hit into that bizarre 6-3-5 double play that provided a controversial end to the 5th inning. Inside-out swing here. Is it going to stay in play, and is it catchable? It's in foul territory and foul over by where home plate is in the Babson on-field bullpen. So a second life here for Mantoni in the 0-2 count.
Very tough to navigate that area of the field, John. It's a ball that's definitely not catchable, but maybe not running as hard as you would, because you got to take a look and wonder where the plate is, where the catcher is out there. Is there some guys getting loose? A lot of stuff going on in that on-field bullpen.
Meanwhile, the shadows have crept in. Rotuno is releasing the ball from daylight, and it's disappearing into the shadows as he throws. Could give him the advantage he needs here in an 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. Popped up, foul out of play. Don't worry about it. We'll get at least one more. If the inning continues, Kyle Boudris is on deck. 0-2 pitch, check swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. That call's made at home plate, and Rotuno does it again. No runs in the inning on no hits, no errors, and the go-ahead run stranded at third after the strikeout by Mantoni. At the end of 7 full, we are knotted at 8, and Babson gets a chance to try to take the lead in the 8th inning of Game 14.
For all the hits and all the runs and all the errors and all the base runners, this game's moving at quite a pace. The excitement, obviously, back and forth, leads, ties. It's been a wild ride so far.
That it certainly has. It's a shame somebody has to lose this game. It's been so good for so long. And Tremendazzi goes back out to the mound and came in with the lead, obviously lost the lead, and now has to try to keep this game tied. And this game's already got an extra inning feel to it in the 8th. Not necessarily to say that it's going to go extra innings, but this almost feels like we're in extra innings already, the way that the pitchers are being used.
Yeah, and it feels like almost like a sudden death mentality. Not that it is, the next team to score wins, but feels like it could be that way.
Jake Weiss comes to the plate to lead off the inning, to be followed by Brian McHale and Jack Halpin. And this portion of the order has produced some hits for Babson. Weiss has got 3 hits on the day. McHale's got 1. Halpin's got 2. So Tremendazzi coming into a pressure cooker of his own, even though it's a clean inning here in the 8th, because Babson's offense playing very well. You look at what they've done today. 17 hits in the last game, 13 hits in this one, 30 hits since they got out of bed this morning.
And 17 runs, which is a whole heck of a lot, but geez, it could be a whole lot worse. You really haven't seen a big inning. The largest inning we have on the day for Babson is 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And all those hits, all those runners, plenty of runs, but seems like it could be so much worse.
First pitch, in for a called strike 1 to Jake Weiss.
Tremendazzi with that breaking ball. He's going to feature it. Makes his fastball, which is very firm, look even harder.
0-1 hit on the ground down to shortstop. Hughie up with it. He's got to make a play. His throw right on the money. Excellent play, 1 out.
Beacons have Brian Kaufman getting loose in the bullpen, and like I said, they've kind of switched roles with Tremendazzi's been the closer all season.
Number 5, Brian
Kaufman's
McHale.
been so good in the postseason that he's kind of taken over that role.
But you have to think they don't want to make the move to him until they've got the lead. So the longer that takes, the tougher this makes life for Tremendazzi.
True.
1 away. First pitch rides inside for ball 1 to Brian McHale. McHale, in a game that's been so chaotic, has actually had a pretty simple day. 1 for 4. Had an RBI single back in the 3rd. Popped out to short in the 1st, and a couple of flyouts his last 2 times up. Time called. What do we have going on here?
On-field bullpen, wild pitch, ball on the field. So while you're right, you don't want to go to the guy that's now considered your closer without the lead. Kaufman went 6 innings in the conference championship game.
It's not that you can't do it. It's just you don't want to make the decision, is what I'm saying. Is that pitch is in for a called strike. Of all that you as a coaching staff, you've got to consider 1,000 different contingencies coming into a game like this. But one question that there just isn't really a natural or obvious answer to is, well, if we're in a tie game late, when do we make the decision to lift Tremendazzi and make the move to go to Kaufman. I just don't know that there's a natural answer to that question.
You won't make that decision with a clean inning until you have the lead. But if Tramandazzi gets into trouble, Kaufman's coming in the game. Now, if Tramandazzi continues to pitch well like he's doing now, ride him for a while. You're absolutely right.
2-2 pitch, inside, swung on and fouled off. That one might have hit McHale if he hadn't swung.
Two-seamer rode up and in.
Halpin on deck, Arena in the hole. The 2-2 pitch, curveball popped up. Will slice into foul territory. Making the catch on the run in foul territory is Chris Fowler for the second out.
Nice play by Fowler. That's a tough spot to get to as a first baseman. Running back and the ball is slicing. You got your back to the field. The ball comes back to you.
33,
Makes it look so routine, but very difficult play.
Now Jack Halpin, the batter. Halpin is 2 for 4 with a pair of singles, a ground out and a fly out. Had an RBI single in the third, scored a run back in the fifth. First pitch to him, hit out to center field. Frosino is playing deep, has to come in, dives and makes the catch. Frosino had to sprint in, respecting Halpin's bat, and finally, one of the iffy plays on defense goes UMass Boston's way, and it's the Beacons making a fabulous catch. Frosino gets Tramandazzi through a 1-2-3 inning.
For Babson in the
Great
top
catch
eighth,
there
no
by
runs, no hits.
Frosino.
There were no errors
Trying to
and
take
no
a look
runners
on
left
that
on base.
replay to see if maybe there had been a trap, but with a 6-man umpire crew, they're right on top of it. That's a catch all the way.
If memory serves, we have a zoom on the Manfredo straighter, right?
You know, with the game going the way it is, I'd hate to take any risk with the Manfredo straighter and possibly torpedo the broadcast like we've seen happen before. I don't want to point any fingers. Here comes Tramandazzi, letting it hang like Larry Bird sticking that 3 in the 3-point shooting contest. Finger in the air.
Well, your turn, Ken Rotunno. Can you keep this going? Games come together a million different ways. The themes can change a lot of different ways. I don't know if I've ever seen a game this big turn into a pitcher's duel between eighth inning guys for extended periods of time before. This is a new one for me. I'm not complaining, but I don't know that I've ever seen this before.
No, you're not complaining, and you almost saw it coming, John. You kept asking, when are these guys going to be in? When's too soon? And the 6th inning is when you started to see those setup men, and be interesting to see when and if they get lifted, like you said. Now in a tie game.
Number 15, Kyle Boudris.
Kyle Boudris leads off the bottom of the 8th, and it now bears mentioning, we're right up against it. If Boston can score a run here, Babson's down to the final 3 outs of its season. So keep that in mind.
And it's not Cuneo in the bullpen getting loose.
First pitch is a fastball that misses down low.
Continues to be Tannenbaum.
And I'd have to think it's much the same for Matt Noon. You don't want to go to Cuneo unless you have the lead. As that one misses for ball 2 to Boudris.
The difference might be on the Boston side, and probably not the way Tramandazzi's pitching, but with that last at-bat, you could go to your closer in the top of the 9th if you're confident in thinking that you can get 1 run in the bottom for the walk-off.
2-0 misses away, and again, Rotunno not making it easy for himself. He threw a leadoff walk last inning to Frosino. 3-0 pitch in there for the courtesy strike. Let's see if he can make a pitch now, 3-1. 3-1, misses down low for ball 4, second consecutive inning with a leadoff walk. In all 3 innings that Ken Rotunno has pitched, the leadoff runner has reached base. It wasn't his fault, had the fielding error by McHale back in the 6th.
Here comes Coach Noon. That's that.
So Ken Rotunno is done. And it's all going to depend on what happens from here. He is the pitcher of record at the moment because he's responsible for the runner at first. If Babson is able to somehow win this game, his performance will be legendary when you consider those 2 wild double plays that he was able to induce and being able to strand a runner at third with a strikeout of Mantoni last inning. Really an outstanding relief outing with a season on the line.
And Boston has gone to a pinch runner here. Eddie Riley has entered the game at first base.
So Riley will run for Boudris, and that's another one of those things where you want the immediate advantage of having him run, but in a game that's tied that could go on a while, he could become your 3-hitter later in the game.
We saw that early in the tournament, some of these extra inning games where you go into these pinch runners, and Boston is privileged in having such a deep bench where they can bring in defensive replacements every game for Nagel and
Ladies and gentlemen,
pinch runners. And,
please. Now
but like you said, if this extends,
number 28, Max
Riley could be in the batter's box.
We've seen Tannenbaum twice in the
Pitch
tournament.
running
He's
at
pitched
first
a
base
combined
for
2
UMass
innings. He's
Boston,
given up
number
2
3,
unearned
Eddie
runs
Riley.
on 3 hits, 1 walk, no strikeouts. Opponents batting .333 against him, and it's just as simple as this. He's a submarine pitcher. Where it goes, and it's just a question of whether or not UMass Boston can handle a submarine pitcher after seeing the standard over-the-top stuff all day long.
Sure, and it's not going to be the first time they've seen him. You run through the New England region, and many teams have a sidearm guy. So Boston has seen, they may have even seen Tannenbaum before. They've played Babson 3 times, so we will see if they can get the ground ball, and that's what they're looking for. You bring in the sidearm guy to get you out of a jam and get you a ground ball, and here comes Fowler. Will they stay with the same philosophy? They've just been staying away, rolling him over. Last time he was able to use the whole field, put a drive into a ball to left field, which was ruled a double. Ball was hit very far. Misplayed a little bit, but double.
Fowler showing bunt right away. Pulls back. That one looked to be down the middle.
Absolutely a strike. Surprised here that maybe all the bunt guys running all over the place and stuff must have startled the umpire, because that looked like it was there.
Throw over to first to check on Riley. He's back in safely.
Big difference between 1-0 and 0-1 here in this spot, that's for sure.
Riley leaning a little bit. Defense crashes. They try to throw behind over at first base. And again, Riley gets back in safely.
See if there's any type of slash or anything else on, or if this is just a straight sacrifice bunt.
And one misses for ball 2. Riley has 2 steals in his 2 attempts this year.
Might have the take sign as well. You saw that Boston, when they employed the take sign early, they all squared around for those fake bunts, so you'll see what happens here on 2-0, or if he just puts it down.
Pulled back there, took ball 3. No matter what, no matter who's throwing them, you've got to have strikes.
Yeah, they're trying to give you an out here, and you either need to take the out and move on or run a bunt trap, which they are, trying to get the run at second.
3-0, misses, not close.
Nope.
Free pass there for Fowler, back-to-back walks. First by Rotuno, now by Tannenbaum.
And
the right fielder,
Matt Cuneo is loosening in the bullpen now.
And that just shows you Matt Noon has completely run out of options. I mean, he's painted into a corner at this point. And Tannenbaum's got to throw some strikes quick, or you just have to completely go with Cuneo for as long as he can possibly go. That's what it comes down to. And this is why being in the winner's bracket is such a tremendous advantage at this stage. UMass Boston has still got plenty of relievers they can throw at you in a 15 or 16 inning type of a game, where Babson, they've got to win this quick or they're not going to win.
And you saw there was just an offensive timeout between Coach Eigenbraut and Nick Herzog, and probably talking about what to do here in the bunt situation. Might have been a case where he says, hey, Nick, if they crash hard, your option if you want to go to the slash. So it could be an option play where if Nick sees it and has confidence, he can go to the slash, but that might be off now with 1 strike.
Herzog is 1 for 3, had a single, scored a run in the 5th, walked his last time up, pulls back the bunt there, now 1-1.
Got to throw strikes.
Keeping that leadoff runner on base, or off base as it were, so important in a tie game. Babson has not been able to do it. How many rabbits are there in the hat? Here's a bunt. Halpin's going to pick it up. He goes to third too late. Everybody's safe. bound to happen eventually. Boston very aggressive on the bases. Halpin really had no play, but there was no taking him out of that decision process. That's why he's there.
Yep, that was a complete sellout for that play. The bunt trap is on. They're going to third, and nice execution by Herzog. And the bonus, he gets to first base. And now you have bases loaded and nobody out, and that walk was huge. Walk to Fowler.
Luke Nagel.
So for the second time in 3 innings, UMass Boston loads the bases with nobody out. Last time they had the lead, this time it's tied. Luke Nagel, the batter. Babson brings the infield in all the way around. First pitch taken out to left field, and the Beacons are back in front. Ball's in left. 1 run is in. They will hold the second one as the throw comes in on a couple of hops, but Luke Nagel breaks the tie in the bottom of the 8th inning with an RBI single, and the UMass Boston Beacons are 3 outs away from a trip to the College World Series.
First pitch swinging by Nagel, using the whole field as he often does, shoots that ball into left. Beacons playing it safe with nobody out. Base is still loaded.
Now here's Anthony Searles.
We're going to have another pinch runner as Luke Nagel's going to come out, and you're probably going to
see Danny Brown, I would imagine.
See Danny Brown,
and we do. He'll stay in the game to play either left or right field when he gets back in there, and Nagel gets a nice round of applause, deservedly so.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now pitch running.
It's interesting. It makes complete sense. This isn't a criticism in any way, but it's ironic that UMass Boston, the team that's better suited for a long game, has made all the moves to win it short.
Sure.
Taking bats out of the lineup to put in defense and running.
Well, that's the thing, John. You got these top-of-the-line relief pitchers, and you've got these defensive players, and you can always have the next game tomorrow in your back pocket, but what if you get to tomorrow and you never have a lead? So that's the thing, is you got to win the game in hand no matter what. You can't play for tomorrow or play soft because you have that buffer zone. Take advantage of it if you have to, but if you don't go to Kaufman, you don't go to Tramandazi because you have tomorrow, and then you never have a lead and you can never bring in those closers, you're going to have egg on your face.
So Babson makes its final move, like a chess player avoiding checkmate. They go to Matt Cuneo here with the bases loaded and nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Cuneo comes in need of something big in Babson's favor. Babson has had so many improbable things happen in this game to benefit them that have kept them in it so far. Could there be one more?
Coming through the loser's bracket, so difficult. Babson
now pitching for Babson.
Been tested all the way through, played so well. Got to start to wonder, having those extra 2 games that they had to battle through, and we saw Cameron Rosa early, who we hadn't seen in the tournament, still was a tie game or a lead there at that point when he entered. He got maybe 1 out, if that, before they had to go immediately to Rotuna. Then again, you see Tannenbaum come in, not have a lot of success when you have Cuneo there. So did you use an extra guy when maybe you should have went to your 2 guys anyways? Easy to say sitting up here looking down, but interesting anyway, the way it worked out.
Cuneo had a tough night last night, though. He did get a high-pressure save against Salve Regina with the season on the line then. Went 1 inning. Gave up neither a run nor a hit, but did walk 2 batters. And it eventually was able to induce a fly ball to left field to get Babson through against Salve Regina, 5-4 win in Game 12 to get them to Game 13, which they then won, which got them here to Game 14. UMass Boston with a 9-8 lead, but they could rip this wide open with 1 big hit. Anthony Searles, the man who could potentially deliver it, he grounded into that killer double play in the 6th inning the last time Boston had a chance to rip it open. Cuneo's first pitch misses high, and they're not getting off on the right foot with anything. They're not getting first outs, they're not getting first strikes, and it's just very hard to play a team this good when you can't put anything in your favor.
Got to get in the driver's seat, something, like you said. You got to throw that first pitch strike.
1-0 hit to center field. In shallow center, Weiss comes on, makes a catch. In very shallow center, they'll hold the runner. So that's another break for Babson. As the runner stays frozen at third, does not score. Now there's 1 away. And maybe, just maybe, another double play could get Babson out of another gigantic jam in the 8th.
Wouldn't that be wild now after all this?
Yes, it would. But it's amazing. You almost expect it at this point.
Right? I mean, and what an ending we would have with Babson chasing one, Boston still the home team.
And looks like Brendan Egebro's going to go to his bench yet again.
Pinch hitter here.
And he's going to go to Ryan McCormick. McCormick had a pinch hit in yesterday's game. He's 1 for 1 in the tournament. That's the only time we've seen it.
That was a little bit of a different situation, though, John, as that was kind of a blowout mode, trying to get a guy in that bat late.
And now you see why he did it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Pinch hitting for UMass Boston, number 16, Ryan McCormick.
So it'll be a much different looking defense for the Beacons in the 9th, but we've got to get there first.
That's 3 substitutions in this inning on the offensive side.
First pitch, finally a first pitch strike from Cuneo there, no balls and 1 strike. McCormick on the season, a .314 batter, 16 hits in 51 at-bats. 0-1 just missed inside.
Looked like a pretty darn good pitch there, coming across with the breaking ball, but does not get the call.
1-1 pitch, waved at and missed for strike 2.
Cuneo's working in and out there, came across with the breaking ball, which missed for a ball, and then back outside with the fastball for the swing and strike, 1-2.
Charlie Hughey, the 9-hitter, waiting on deck.
Does he come back with the breaking ball again? Stay with the same sequence?
1-2, yes he does, and Harrington blocks it.
So you got to throw a strike here in the next 2 pitches. Bases are loaded, only 1 out.
2-2 pitch, hit high and deep to right center field. This should be deep enough to score the insurance run. Caught in center by Weiss, but he's got no chance. Fowler is in to score, and McCormick gets the job done as the pinch hitter. UMass Boston has a massive insurance run, and they now lead it 10-8.
10-8 here, and still not done. There's a runner on third base with 2 outs.
The shortstop, number 29, Charlie Hughey.
Herzog at third. Brown, the pinch runner, at first with 2 away for Charlie Hughey.
Another offensive timeout for Coach Egebrow.
And why not? This puts them back where they like to be. You know, we've seen them play the cat and mouse game so much. When they're smelling the proverbial blood in the water, there's a lot of things they like to do, and I would think that you'll probably see Danny Brown hitting the road here pretty quick.
Don't want to leave anything to chance with the signals. They use those number signals so much, but why risk it here in the high leverage? Let's talk it over.
Hughey is 0 for 2, has a walk and a sacrifice bunt. First pitch hit on the ground, through the hole, into right field, another runs in to score. In from third is Herzog. The Beacons lead it 11-8, and they are very, very close to being over the hump here in Game 14.
3-run lead now with only 3 outs to play with for Babson. They have scored 3 runs today, but only once. And you're going to be facing either Tramandazi, who's pitching very well, 6 saves on the season, second team all-conference, or you're going to see the guy who's basically been the man here, Brian
14,
Kaufman, in postseason.
Lopez.
And none of the innings they've had were against a pitcher that good.
That's a fact.
Now here's Josh Lopez. Lopez has had an MVP type of a game today, 3 for 4. Watches the first one miss outside. Lopez singled in the first, doubled and scored in the third, walked and scored in the fourth, had a 2 RBI single in the fifth. One 1-0 misses inside. Cuneo's 2-0 pitch is in there for a called strike 1.
Lopez is a little upset with himself for taking that pitch. Was right there. Checking the wristband as the signals are being barked in.
Runners go. 2-1 up high. No contest.
Now, in that case, had they thrown down, it wouldn't have been interference for Lopez because he was right in the box. We saw a couple of times in this tournament where there was obvious interference by the batter in the box after a strikeout, where strike him out, throw him out double play was coming into call, but one time they got the call, one time they didn't. This time Lopez is safe.
Single would just about do it. This one hit the other way to right field, hangs up, and Weber makes the catch for the out that retires the side. But UMass Boston breaks the tie in the bottom of the 8th inning as they come up with 3 runs. They do it on 2 hits, no errors, and they leave 2 runners aboard at the end of 8 full innings of play. Your score, UMass Boston 11, Babson College 8. The Beavers need 3 to tie and 4 to take the lead in the final inning of Game 14. We'll take one last break and come back to take you the rest of the way. You're watching the 2017 NCAA Division III New England Regional on BTV9 and MMABucks.com.
On and off the court, we're focused on creating lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. More college athletes are earning degrees than ever before, but we've still got work to do. That's why we're raising the bar for incoming freshmen, so they're prepared when they get to campus. And why teams can't play in championships unless they make the grade. Education matters, and putting academics first creates a pathway to a lifetime of opportunity. It's more than a whistle or a call. We're committed to giving college athletes a fair shot, on and off the field. Covering the full cost of attendance, because college costs go beyond tuition. Keeping dreams on track, regardless of performance or injury. And creating equal opportunities and inclusive environments. It's about respecting college athletes and prioritizing fairness to build a pathway to lifelong opportunity.
Welcome back as we head to the 9th inning. We're trying to spy the defensive changes all the way around for UMass Boston. We've got Danny Brown in right field.
Eddie Riley at third base.
Eddie Riley at third base came in as a pinch runner.
Left field, number 34, Nick Herzog.
Herzog moves to left from right field.
Number 37, Danny Brown.
So Nagel comes out.
Yep.
Entering the game and playing third base, number 9, Joey Rogers.
That's incorrect. It's Eddie Riley who's at third base. Joey Rogers a pitcher.
Brian Kaufman.
And Brian Kaufman now in to pitch, and that's the important one.
That is.
Leading off for Babson, the designated hitter, number 37, Ryan Arena.
And are we saying it's McCormick in center?
I don't know. It doesn't look like. Looks like. Did they take Sal out? Looks like.
Pinch ran for him, right? Pinch hit for him.
Okay. It's a left-hand thrower out there, and McCormick, I believe, is a right-hand thrower, so I don't know. It's a long ways away.
Kaufman 1-0 in 2 appearances in the tournament. He's given up no runs on 2 hits in 2 innings, 3 strikeouts and no walks. First pitch misses down low for ball 1 to Ryan Arena. In a game of many memorable plays, Ryan Arenas is up toward the top of the list. A home run to tie the game in the 7th that was caught by Nagel in left and fumbled over the fence after a collision with the fence, as that one's in for strike 1. Tied the game at the time at 8, but Babson has been unable to generate any offense since. Now the 1-1, late swing, 1-2.
Kaufman's so good. He's had a good tournament, that one appearance you talked about, but his season has been spectacular. 1.10 ERA and 57 in a third innings.
1-2 pitch hit up the middle, and that will get through for a base hit. Well-placed single by Ryan Arena, and Babson's got life in the 9th.
Kaufman, who's a relief pitcher, second or third on the team in innings.
The catcher, number
now
10,
Sean Harrington, the batter.
Harrington
is 1 for 4. Had an RBI double back in the 5th inning. Flew out to center field his last time up. Tremendazzi now in line for the win after some superb relief by him. Kaufman deals, misses outside with ball 1. Beavers have scored in bunches today for the most part. 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th. It's got to be at least 3 here in the 9th or it's over. 1-0 pitch, in for a called strike 1. UMass Boston seeking its 2nd trip to Appleton, Wisconsin for a College World Series in program history. Went as a major underdog in 2010. Looking to do it this time as the favorite. Hit on the ground down to second base. Chance for two if they hurry. On to second for one, and that'll be all they'll get. Good slide into second base by Arena, so Harrington reaches on the fielder's choice, and there's one out.
Lopez puts that ball in his pocket. Doesn't want to risk throwing it away.
Really a low-risk proposition, though, with a three-run lead.
Number 27, Eric John.
Now, Eric John, the batter. John is 1 for 4. Reached on an error and scored in the fourth. Singled and scored in the fifth. Babson's leading hitter in the tournament. First pitch on the outside corner, which has suddenly reappeared, 0-1. Beavers setting a program record for wins this year, coming in at 29-14. Trying to make one more push as that one fouled off at the dish. No balls and 2 strikes. The end of an amazing road for the entire athletic department for Babson this year. 5 teams reaching the round of 16, 2 teams reaching the Final Four, a national championship for men's basketball, and the baseball team hanging on to a last flicker of hope for a College World Series run as that one swung on and missed, and Babson now down to its final out. "14 games later, it all comes down to this. Mark Weber facing Kaufman as the Beacons look for out number 27.
The right fielder, number 17, Mark
strike
Weber.
1, strike 2, strike 3.
UMass Boston's done it the way you're supposed to. 1 win per day and the lead in the 9th here. First pitch. Misses low and inside for ball 1. Weber trying to keep it going for David Lennon, who's 1 for 3. Connor Gill, who's been arguably the best hitter in the tournament, in the hole. 1-0, misses up and away. He's a Casey at the bat type of a situation right now, trying to get it back to Connor Gill.
To the 9-hitter, who has been outstanding.
Has 6 hits between the 2 games Babson's played today, including 2 in this game.
Going to be interesting to see. The all-tournament team comes out with between Lopez and Gill. I mean, that's 2 absolute studs here in this tournament.
It's 3-0 count now. Weber, despite it all, still all smiles up there at the plate, and you have to think he's got to be at least a 1-pitch take here, and maybe 2, given the fact that they have to have another base runner.
Base runners, base runners, base runners, John. Take all the way.
3-0, way outside for ball 4. So Babson will get the tying run to the plate in the 9th inning. Weber down to first, Harrington up to second, and it all rests on David Lennon's shoulders.
The third baseman, number
Lennon
6,
put into
David
the lineup
Lennon.
today, the only change from game 13 to game 14 for Matt Noon, and this was why. For the upgraded bat after Shea went 0 for the game on a day where his team had 17 hits. Had a single all the way back in the 3rd. First pitch to him is in for a called strike 1. Lennon struck out swinging in the 4th. Reached on the fielding error by Herzog in the 5th and worked a walk his last time up. That was in the 7th. Brian Kaufman looking for that one more out. 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 2. And the Beacons are on the very, very cusp of a regional championship. UMass Boston looking for one more strike. Brian Kaufman trying to deliver it. His 0-2. Fouled away. Out of play. We'll have one more pitch at least. Seven years ago, UMass Boston, the quintessential Cinderella story. Nothing Cinderella about this one. They have been dominant throughout the year. Trying for the exclamation point. The 0-2 pitch punched down to second base. Lopez up with it. He goes to second for the 27th out. And 7 years later, UMass Boston is going back to Appleton, Wisconsin as New England Regional Champions as they knock off the Babson Beavers 11-8. They win their 37th game of the season. And this time around, it's very believably unsurprising. UMass
Babson,
Boston,
the top of
New
the
England
ninth, no
Regional
runs on
champions
one hit.
in 2017.
There were no errors, and there were 2 runners left on base. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please remain in the stands and off the playing field for the post-game ceremony. Once again, please stay off the playing field and remain in the stands for a post-game ceremony.
UMass Boston champions the New England Regional in 2017. Sean, you know it so well. This road begins, it's really begun already for your team next year. You're doing the recruiting. You do all the work getting your players on campus. You get them enrolled in their classes. You make sure they're set academically. You have your non-traditional season schedule. You take all the changes that come and go. Players come, players go, they get hurt, they become ineligible, they get eligible again. The deck gets shuffled on you 1,000 different ways. Then you begin a season, you head down to Florida, you play a bunch of games there, you come back, as Brendan Igebrote embraces Terry Condon, who we told you about, really got this whole athletic department turned around and what she was able to do with the volleyball program there. But it's such an immensely long and winding road to get to this day in late May. And for UMass Boston, they've been able to make every right turn along the way to get right here and get that golden ticket.
Total team effort by the Beacons all season long. They've overcome injuries. They overcome all the things that you talk about. Starts in the summertime. It's a full process. You've got a handful of seniors. You've got freshmen contributing. You've got young guys on the mound. We saw them start the tournament with a freshman pitcher, finish it with their closer, Kaufman. What an outstanding year for the Beacons, and not done yet.
They will head on to Wisconsin next week and try to make an impact. Last time, they were in that situation where they were overjoyed to be there, maybe in a little over their heads competitively, and that's a tough spot to be in to compete when you're walking on clouds like that. This time, it's got to be different for Brendan Igebrote and his staff. This time, it's more of a mission. They know they're deep, they know they're talented, and they know they can win big games. They're going in there knowing they might see 1 or 2 teams they already know when they get out there. They're thinking that's something they can take home.
They've won 2 tough tournaments already here, John. Their first Little East Conference championship since 2010. Their first regional championship since 2010. That's 2 very difficult tournaments already. They're going to Appleton, having been through the fires, through the wars. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they can take it all the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time,
now we'll take a listen in to the public address as they will give out the awards, and we'll gab over it as necessary.
Baseball Regional
Very good.
Championships. First, please join us in thanking our co-hosts for this weekend's championship, the Massachusetts Maritime Academy and the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, as we thank all of the countless volunteers who made this weekend's regional championship possible. We are also grateful to the Harwich Mariners of the Cape Cod Baseball League for allowing us to play this championship for the 16th time here at beautiful White House Field. Please join us in a round of applause in congratulating this year's New England Regional runner-up, the Beavers of Babson College. Under 15th year head coach Matt Noon, Babson set a program record with 29 victories as tournament champions of the New England Women's and Men's Athletic Conference. Congratulations once again to the Beavers of Babson College. At this time, we would like to announce the 2017 New England Regional All-Tournament team. At first base, from Babson College, Jack Halpin. At second base, from UMass Boston, Josh Lopez. At shortstop, from Suffolk University, Sean Cameron. At third base, from UMass Boston, Kyle Boudris. At catcher, from UMass Boston, Anthony Searle. Outfield, from Babson College, Eric John. From Babson College, Jake Weiss. And from UMass Boston, Luke Nagel. The designated hitter, from UMass Boston, Dan Mantoni. At the utility position, from Babson College, Connor Gill. Starting pitchers, from Suffolk University, Chuck Gibson. From Salve Regina University, Corey Poplawski. From UMass Boston, Matt Tully. And from Babson College, Eddie Lear. The relief pitcher, from UMass Boston, Brian Kaufman. And the most outstanding player of the 2017 New England Regional, from UMass Boston, Nick Herzog. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us.
Very good selection, very careful selection. I know you were in on the ground floor with that with Jim Seavey. Very deserving, everyone that was awarded. They did a good job of acknowledging teams that didn't make it to the championship round and did a good job of not forgetting players on these two teams that impacted games before this one.
Yeah, and you saw most of the players went to the two teams in the championship round, as they should. They played the most games. They have the opportunity to pile up the most stats. You saw some outstanding performances the whole way through. So, great selection.
Presenting the regional championship trophy to the Beacons is Mr. John Martin, the head baseball coach at Bates College and the NCAA site
John Martin,
representative
the
for
site
this year's
representative from the
championship.
NCAA, the head coach up at Bates, will present the championship trophy to the UMass Boston captains, and that's a photo that will live on in program history, and that's getting to be a crowded trophy case. Up in Dorchester, they're going to have to make room next to the 2010 one for that. And these guys, like you said, aren't done. They're hoping to bring another one that's even a little bit bigger home.
I can't imagine that there's any team out there more prepared to make a run in the Appleton.
Congratulations
It's going to
once
be
again to both
jam-packed College World Series, but looking forward to seeing what the Beacons can do.
And there you have it. That's the look and the sound of a team that got what it came for right there.
Absolutely, and they did it from start to finish. Number one seed, undefeated. 4 wins, 4-0, off to Appleton.
Championship trophy presentation.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't spend at least a minute putting it all in context for Babson College, this tremendous season that they've had that came to an end at 29-15. Babson is always a team that's been able to compete at a high level. They've, in some respects, been similar to your team at UMass Dartmouth, one that always runs with the big dogs and kind of one of the best-kept secrets in New England because you haven't had those huge years where you're in the mix to win a regional and go to the World Series, but you're always playing and oftentimes beating those teams that are. And they were kind of in that same situation when they were around 500 a lot early in the year. Just over a month ago, they had the tragic loss of Dan Cooney, one of their teammates, something that could have, really probably should have, torpedoed their entire season. And after that, they go 17-2 down the stretch, rip through a very competitive New MAC conference, and ran wild on this regional, and were this close to forcing it to a 15th game. For Matt Noon, obviously it stings today, but for him and his staff, in the days that follow, what they're going to realize is they've taken a big step forward for this program, and similar to UMass Boston, it's not going to be the same after. You can recruit at another level, you can schedule at another level, and you can play at another level. It just isn't the same as it was before once you take this big declarative step that you take when you win 4 NCAA tournament games.
Yeah, and I think they can safely say that they're the second best team in New England, and they came into this tournament, they only lost to one team. They lost to Boston twice, and they beat everybody else, and they beat most of them handily. So you got the best 2 teams in this tournament in the final, and Boston was the best team. They were number 1 seed. They came in, they did what they needed to do, but But all the things you said about Babson are spot on. They got hot. They got rolling. They're the second best team in New England, which is nothing to sneeze at. And I think they're going to walk out of here feeling pretty good about themselves. And, you know, you're a little down about the loss, but what a year.
This game stayed so close for so long that I wasn't able to get into the many acknowledgments that we owe to a lot of people who made this thing all roll so well. We don't get all those viewers if it weren't for a ton of people catering to our every need over these last 4 days. First, with the television crew for Bridgewater Television. They're not getting rich coming out and shooting these tournaments, I can tell you that. They don't have to do it. They do it because they love it, and it showed in their performance. The guys at the top, Jeff Fowler and Mike Moriello, and then their incredible crew that's all come through here over the last few days. John Luck, Brian Berard, Tom Pike, Nick Allende, our main man, Jason Pritchard, Dominic Damiano, and Scott Olson. Just tremendous, tremendous work from them. We have a lot of people that are watching from out of region because this product is so much better than what's going on in the other regions. And we have so many people that stayed watching this tournament and got hooked on it.
I mean, this is a pro-style setup, and you and I were watching some of the teams we know that are playing in other regionals, and we were checking it out as a one-camera view, and it's the typical, you know, standard every day. But here, it's like you're playing in the major leagues with the setup they have here. It's unbelievable.
But you can't make it sound like a major league broadcast unless you have major league stats, major league information, and a major league press box. And because of 4 people really, we've had that for the last 4 days. Kathy Lynch from Framingham State, Dave Rourke, Brooke Ficillo from Mass Maritime Academy, and Brooks' boss, Jim Seavey, who's been running the press box for these whole 4 days. They have done phenomenal work to make life so very easy for us the last few days.
And so much fun, too, right? And we come here, and it's a grind. 4 games a day, 3 days in a row, and then the championship Sunday. And, you know, if you're not having fun, and what a great group. I mean, I got to meet everybody for the first time. You've known them before, and just having a good time, watching some baseball, and it's flown by.
And to the sports information staffs at all the various schools that have made life very easy for us as well. We mentioned the ones that were here today, Dave Wahlberg and Seth Orensky from UMass Boston, Jeremy Veens and Scott Dietz from Babson. They're the ones that have been with us the whole way, but there have been plenty more that have helped us from all the 8 institutions. I can't remember them all offhand right now, but believe me, my gratitude to each and every one of you. And lastly, to you, my man, stop by any time. I know you don't ever want to do this again, but if you're ever free this week again, I would love to have you do it again.
We had some fun, John, and my first time, and I got to thank you for reaching out to me and asking me and involving me and teaching me the ropes. And can't get a better experience than we had here. You're a fan. You're the best in the business, in my opinion, and that's probably why you're calling such big games and get yourself involved all over the place. And man, what a blast.
I'm not sure I agree, but you are entitled to your opinion.
Thanks, and I will always voice it. So
here we are at long last on camera as you get to touch the fourth wall, as we were saying a couple days ago, here out on the deck as UMass Boston wins for the second time in 7 years to go to the College World Series, 11-8, the final score here today. They're headed to the College World Series, going to try to bring one home for New England. And before we go, any final thoughts?
Congratulations to UMass Boston. Go out there and get it done. I think they have a very good chance of going all the way. So thanks again, John. Thanks to all the people that you mentioned, and had a great time.
And thanks to all those of you who are watching throughout the week, particularly those of you who are part of the Division III community. This has really been a showcase of how tremendous this has been. It's so great to be back in this chair and to do this again. And for crying out loud, why don't you hire my man Kenny Swain over here?
Oh, jumping in the picture, hot sauce.
He is available for job interviews.
The most electric free agent in sports information right now.
At KC Swain 15, I've got his phone number if you want that too. 11-8, your final score for the final time. UMass Boston, champions of the New England Regional. They are headed on to Wisconsin in 2017. And on behalf of Sean Manfredo and all those very many people I just named, this is John Cabral from the bottom of my heart saying thank you for watching. Congratulations to the Beacons, and good night from Harwood.